On a night when region play fully begins all around the state of Alabama, we welcome you to Anniston, to a place simply known as The Hill, where tonight 2 3A Region 6 contenders will try to separate themselves from each other on their way to a region championship. For Lee Osmont's Glencoe squad, they look for a repeat region title performance that will get them back to a spot in the playoffs they had not enjoyed since 1973 before falling one game short of a berth in the Super 7. For Jeff Smith and Wellborn, after a hard-fought one-point win last week against hated rival Sachs, they try to take the next step forward to breaking the 10-win mark for the first time under Smith. Tonight, the 7th-ranked Walter Wellborn Panthers host the Glencoe Yellow Jackets in a 3A Region 6 showdown on the Friday Night Network's FNN2 debut. Good evening, everyone. I'm Aaron Daniel, and let me introduce my sidekick for the rest of the season, Blake Gardner. And Blake, it is a nice night after a very hot day. We've all cooled down a little bit. We've all sweated it out. And thankfully, we got a fan up here to work with. But last week, we were here for Walter Wellborn's win over Sachs in the game of the week. And Wellborn, very fortunate in a lot of ways to come away with a victory after Sachs really shot themselves in the foot with 12 penalties and not having a kicking game. They can't afford to do that type of thing tonight.
No, they can't. Wellborn wasn't as sharp as they'd like to be last week, but they know that, and they know that they were fortunate enough to come away with a win and a really tight ball game at 21-20. Sachs did a lot of things well. Unfortunately, as you mentioned, the penalties really hurt them. They accumulated a ton of penalty yardage, and they weren't able to execute the kicking game, which gave Wellborn good field position every time they started an offensive drive, and Sachs drove inside the red zone a few times and wasn't able to come up with some points. So for Wellborn, it was back to the drawing board a little bit early this week. They know they need to get out and really establish the run game on Glencoe tonight and really be able to get the ball moving and get some drives going early.
You mentioned that run game. Walter Wellborn runs a wing T formation. They use 3 backs behind sophomore quarterback Austin McQueen, who got a big confidence boost with a win last week in his first regular season start as quarterback. He's going to really rely heavily, especially on number 25, DJ Roden.
Yeah, you can't say enough about DJ Roden. This guy does everything for them offensively and even chips in a little defensively, too. He plays a mean linebacker for Wellborn, but his main job is really that fullback running back in that wing T. He's able to get some push in between the tackles and really set the tone inside that front 7, and he also does a little job in the return game as well. He's their kick returner and their punt returner.
To his left and right, you'll see Pat Harris and Jordan Montgomery. You'll also see all 3 of those players playing two-way ball. Harris playing cornerback. You'll see Montgomery in the safety, and you'll see Roden at linebacker. So they take care of a lot of the phases on defense. Speaking of Mr. Everything, let's take a look at Glencoe. You and I went back and watched some tape of the game against Gordo in the Champions Challenge. An exhibition game didn't count towards the regular season. Their first official game was last week in a victory, so they're 1-0. They're coming in pretty hot after last season's 13-1 season, including the loss in the semifinals to in the end. In the end, they're trying to look to bounce back. Gordo was also a semifinalist. They started out in the Champions Challenge to see who was the better team. Gordo got the better of them 28-21. But when you say Mr. Everything, you have to talk about Coach Lee Osmont's son, Pace, who really, you talk about DJ Roden, but this kid really does do it all for Glencoe.
Yeah, you cannot say enough about this senior Pace Osmont. We called him Mr. Everything when we watched him on tape, as you mentioned, against Gordo. Not only is he contributing in the kicking game, he's their punter, he's their kicker, their free safety. He also returns punts and kicks, and he plays wide receiver and even does a little cover 1 safety over the top for Glencoe. They're on both sides of the ball. All 3 facets of the game will have Pace Osmont's fingerprints on them. If he has a big game in terms of total yardage and is able to make some plays at the back end of this defense, Glencoe will come out on top tonight.
Should be an extremely good matchup, especially because these 2 teams finished top 3 in Region 6 last year. We look forward to a great contest. We'll step aside for a break. When we come back, we'll have more of the pregame show here on the Friday Night Network's FNN2 coverage of Glencoe at Wellborn.
It's no secret that Johnson's Giant Food has the best meat market in town. That's because freshness is our #1 priority. We don't use coarse grind with fillers, which consists mostly of the outside meat of the cattle. That's where E. coli and other like diseases grow. We pride ourselves in having the freshest cuts and grinding in town. Our meat markets are equipped with butchers with years of experience with a variety of meat cuts. Quality and freshness is our pledge to you.
Oh, hey, you got one of those insurance apps too? You know how this thing works?
No, sorry. Not an app, it's my agent.
In this moment,
No, I'm fine, thanks.
It's good to know you have a trusted, independent auto owner's insurance agent who's there when you need them.
Great. Man, I gotta get one of those.
Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people.
Calhoun Insurance in Oxford is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
When you wanted fast, when you needed speed, we've always been the one. Well, now, the fastest just got faster. Introducing Ultra 100 Internet from Cable One. Experience speeds up to 100 megs. Welcome to Ultra 100 Internet.
Cable One, the fastest just got faster.
Hi, I'm Shane Denny, General Manager of Sunny King Forward. What does being transparent mean? It means we won't send you flyers saying you want thousands of dollars just to get you on the lot. It means we won't show you fake numbers on your trade or on our card just to make more money. It means we won't mislead you and misguide you. It means we'll be honest. It means we'll look you in the eye and shake your hand and be fair with you on every deal. That's something different about Sunny King Forward. Come see me, Shane Denny, at Sunny King Forward. It's where a handshake still matters.
Since 1848, our bank has witnessed inventions that have changed the world. Conveniences such as the refrigerator, the light bulb, and the airplane were all created during the early days of our bank. VHS tapes, DVDs, smartphones, all invented while we were First National Bank of Talladega. Our name may have changed, but we have a rich history. First Bank of Alabama. We're still first, and so are you.
In a world that's ever-changing, you have to be sure that your choices are the right choices. At Central Alabama Community College, you'll know you made the best choice. We understand that you need the best educational opportunities. Whether choosing a technical degree program, taking courses to transfer to a four-year college or university, or being a part of our national championship winning traditions, Central Alabama will provide you with courses and degree programs in tune with today's workplace. Get a sharper focus on your life by choosing one of our 3 convenient locations: Alex City, Childersburg, and Talladega. Central Alabama Community College. Central to you. Central to your success.
Back to Anniston, Alabama, to the field simply known as the Hill. You know, a lot of stadiums we see have a lot of more formal names. We're not kidding. This is simply known as the Hill, as you'll see on the greeting underneath the scoreboard here, where Walter Wellborn, 7th ranked in 3A, hosts just outside. I think you told me earlier they were the next team outside of the top 10 for 3A in Glencoe. One thing, before we get into these big games, I wanted to mention was Lee Osment said he felt his team was always very disrespected. They don't get talked a lot about. And that certainly is coming into case at this point for Glencoe, considering they weren't even ranked in the top 10 to start the season, and they were returning off a 13-1 year.
Yeah, you go 13-1, you expect to come back, at least ranked in the top 10, maybe even the top 5, depending on how much you return on both sides of the ball. We talked to Coach Osment, and he did mention that his team wasn't really getting a whole lot of respect. They put up a really good fight against Gordo, as we mentioned in that Champions Challenge. Looked pretty good, especially in the second half, against the number 2 ranked team in 3A. So this could be a chance for Glencoe to come out early, really make a statement win to the voters, and really get the recognition they deserve.
Yeah, that was a game that may have been an exhibition, but they didn't leave their starters off. They really went at it full board, both teams did. Now, let's take a look at some of the big games around the area for you folks out there. First off, we're going to head down towards Montgomery to Opelika, where the Bulldogs host Benjamin Russell, the Wildcats. Both teams 2-0 coming in. Opelika coming off a squeaker over Auburn last week, 31-30. Meanwhile, Ben Russell comes off just an absolute bludgeoning of Central Clay County. Not a team that's easy to do that to, 38-7. Series record between these two, Ben Russell leads 37-30-3, dating back to when they were Alexander City back in the 20s through 40s. But their last meeting, Opelika, was very beneficial, 23-0. And these opponents have been were regular opponents from 1945 all the way to 2005. That should be a good matchup.
Yeah, you rarely see a game so early in the year between 2 top 10 teams that really has a lot of implications in terms of the region race. I mean, you talk about Ben Russell and Opelika, already kind of a rivalry game down south. Should be a fun matchup tonight, and the first team that comes out on top will have definitely a foothold at that number 1 spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're getting a lot of these matchups we're seeing that are going to be region winners. A lot of these you're going to see implicated tonight. We saw Leeds at Mumford. Let's touch on that really quick for just a second before we get to Ranburne, Randolph County. Leeds at Mumford. As Leeds, both these teams started off with a loss, came back, won last week. Leeds, big winners over Trinity, 62-7. Mumford, 41-20 over Cleburne County. Only 10 matchups between these two. Leeds 8-2, and last year was really bad for Mumford.
Yeah, it was. Mumford really took it on the chin against Leeds. A lot of people took it on the chin against Leeds. Leeds, the state champions in 4A last year, come back out already receiving 9 first-place votes in the latest 4A poll, number 2 right behind UMS Wright. Mumford's got a chance to maybe spring an upset there, but if Leeds looks like they did last week against Trinity, it could be another long night for Mumford.
And that combined score last year in the 2 matchups they had in the regular season and the quarterfinals, Leeds won 91-7. So Mumford needs to bounce back tonight. Ranburne, Randolph County, this is a big matchup over that way in Wedowee. They're both 1-0 coming in. Randolph comes off a victory over Mount Zion out of Georgia. Ranburne comes off a victory over Pleasant Valley, 43-13. These two last year, not a close game. Ranburne wins 42-14, heading into a 12-1 season and a semifinal berth. Randolph County, though, was pretty good, going 9-3, went to the quarterfinals in the playoffs. Both these teams have something to look forward to, and a lot of people think Ranburne is going to be a little bit down coming off losing a lot of senior leadership. This could be a night to strike for Randolph County.
Yeah, this is another one of those games where we have an early test for a team who was very good last season, going on the road to a team that's looking for a little bit of revenge coming off of last year in Randolph County. Ranburne, the number 6 team in the country coming into tonight. We mentioned it's probably going to be Ranburne, Randolph County, and Reeltown battling in that region. But Randolph County's got a chance to maybe surprise some people tonight in Wedowee.
To clarify, we're going to always correct ourselves when we have something wrong. Ranburne, number 6 in the state.
In
2A. Both these teams out of Region 5. They're going to have to both battle with Reeltown, so that should be interesting. And then, of course, this one you're seeing now, Talladega County Central at Donahoe. This was not close last year at all either. 65-13 for Donahoe, and really a lot of people believe this region will be a 2-horse race between Donahoe and Raglan, maybe Wadley thrown in there. A lot of people, some people think Talladega County Central could be a sleeper team, but they didn't show it very well against Talladega in week 1.
Yeah, we talk about Talladega County Central. We talk about, well, first of all, we can talk about Donahoe. We talked about how those two teams at the top of the region that you already mentioned, those are probably going to be your 1-2 and 1A Region 5. But Talladega County Central can be a little frisky there, maybe slip into the 3 or 4 slot, and really they just need to make a good showing tonight at Donahoe to kind of give that team some confidence, on the road, really come out, have a good performance. It could give them some momentum going into the next few weeks.
And Donahoe won 20-0 last year, and they come off a big 65-13 win in opening week. So Donahoe looking to continue that momentum. Donahoe probably a clear favorite, I think, for region to repeat as region champs. Now you've looked at those games. Obviously, big game here tonight, as you can see. The big thing is Piedmont is involved with this as well. It's a 3-horse race in this region. It was last year. Wellborn got the short end of the stick on those games. Glencoe went unbeaten the entire regular season, so they owned everybody. But this was the toughest test for Glencoe last year, 27-26. And that was at Glencoe. I would imagine coming here to Anniston, and with Glencoe having lost some senior leadership, having lost a 1,000-yard rusher, things could be a little bit different here tonight, especially Wellborn coming in off a big win over Sacs, something they haven't done in 3 years.
Wellborn's got to feel good right now. You mentioned that win over Sacs, but they come in, they know they can play with Glencoe. Those guys who were juniors and sophomores last year are now the leaders of this team, juniors and seniors, and they had this game scheduled on their calendar. Big-time game against Glencoe, 1-point loss. They're looking for revenge here. And, hey, a big win tonight could give them a leg up on 3A Region 6.
Not only was it a 1-point loss, but the Panthers were up by 2 touchdowns early in that game, looked to be in control, and then let it slip away. And part of that, I think, is the contrast of offenses here. With Wellborn, we talked about they run the wing T. Glencoe's going to be more spread out, and they will attempt to do anything they can with run throw. Wellborn's going to be very one-dimensional a lot of ways. They don't like to throw the ball a lot if they don't have to. But if they get down by 2-3 touchdowns, they're going to be forced into that situation, and you can pretty much kiss it goodnight.
Right. That's why it's so key for Wellborn to come out and really establish a run game. It would be great for Wellborn if they got out and got on the board first, really put some pressure on Glencoe's offense to come up with a quick answer. But Wellborn's defense has to be up to the task against Glencoe's offense tonight. They can't let Wellborn get in too much of a hole. Otherwise, you're right, Glencoe will be able to pound the ball, and Wellborn's going to have to go through the air, something they're not very comfortable doing.
That's your preview for your FNN2 Game of the Week. Glencoe at Wellborn. We'll take another timeout. When we come back, we'll take a look around the state at top 10 polls and who they'll be facing this week. Some intriguing matchups, a lot of top 10 matchups this week in the state of Alabama. We'll come back with more here on the Friday Night Network.
Step into the offices of J. Britt Middlebrook, CPA, where you'll find professional one-on-one service for business and individual clients. In this ever-changing tax and economic climate, you can count on receiving the expert advice you need. J. Britt Middlebrook works hard to provide every client what they need to meet all deadlines. Tax season will be here soon. For all your accounting service needs, call or stop by at 1913 Berry Street in Oxford. That's J. Britt Middlebrook, CPA. Mr. G's is Glencoe's friendly neighborhood hometown grocery.
Oh, gotta go. Gotta get this, and this.
You'll always find fresh produce.
Meat. Gotta get meat.
And the best meat anywhere at Mr. G's. They'll even cut it to order.
Gotta get this, and this. Yep, gotta get that. Oh, gotta go.
You'll find all your favorite soft drinks and snacks, too.
That was fast. Checkout line, here I come.
Thank you for shopping at Mr. G's, where we get you out quickly.
Oh, thank goodness.
Have you got the new car itch but don't want to take the plunge with a brand new car? How about getting the most car for the money at Avery Auto Sales? They have a large selection of cars with even some 2014s in the mix. And if you're worried about your credit, don't. They can help get you back on your credit feet with guaranteed approval. Check them out online at AveryAutoSales.net. Then when you see something you like, call them at 256-835-8897 for a test drive. Or just go by. Avery Auto Sales is located on Highway 78 East between Highway 78 and Snow Street in Oxford. That's Avery Auto Sales.
I am never getting married. Never. Guaranteed.
You picked a beautiful ring.
Thank you. We're never having kids.
Come over here.
We are never moving to the suburbs.
We are never getting one of those. We're never having another kid.
I'm pregnant.
I'm never letting go.
For all the nevers in life, talk to State Farm agent Charles Goff in Rainbow City. State Farm is there.
This is a nice place. How much do you think this is going to cost us?
I have no idea. Surely they'll show us some options.
I wonder if we should have asked.
At K.L. Brown Memory Chapel, we believe creating a service to match your budget is the best service we can offer.
I thought for sure it was going to cost more.
I'm so glad we can afford what we want.
People come from everywhere to get their deal from Bill Stanford. They come from Ashland, Brompton, Lineville. They come from Moody, Munford, Coldwater, Birmingham, Talladega, Lincoln, Riverside, Heflin. There's no better deal than a Talladega Bill deal.
Right now, all GMC Sierras are at or below supplier price. Save over $2,900 on this 2015 GMC Sierra at Bill Stanford.
Come on out to Bill Stanford in Talladega.
Welcome back to Anniston, Alabama, the home of the Walter Wellborn Panthers. They get set to take on the Glencoe Yellow Jackets in a rematch of a tight battle last year, 27-26, the final, as Glencoe got through that one and then went on to roll to a 13-1 season that ended in a heartbreaking fashion in the semifinals of the 3A playoffs. Let's take a look real quick at some of the top 10 polls around the state. We don't have any graphics for you, but just follow along with us with the sound of my voice. Let's read them off here. 7A first in order. Hoover, Prattville, Central Phoenix City, Bob Jones, Murphy, Foley, James Clemens, Baker, Buckhorn, and then Auburn and Gadsden City tied for the 10th spot. And there's at least there's a couple of intriguing matchups. The big one is coming out of Madison, Alabama.
Yeah, when you talk about James Clemens and Bob Jones, two big rivals there, both in the top 10. Those people down there are going to be in for a treat tonight when you talk about those two teams. Always getting together. You should expect a close game and some high-quality football there in 7A.
James Clemens has only been in school for about 5 years now, but in that short time, they have developed a real hatred for Bob Jones, including I was there last year. They were really angry at losing a tight game, 21-14 to Bob Jones. But James Clemens got to the playoffs the first time last year, so they built a lot of progress, and a lot of people believe James Clemens could be a real, you talk about sleepers, they could be a real factor coming into the 7A playoffs. A lot of people believe they could get a home spot in 7A. Also, top 10 matchup. We talked about Auburn earlier with Opelika. Now they start their region play in this, and talk about starting out of the gate. They start with the team out of Region 2 in 7A, and a team that a lot of people believe will face Hoover in the finals this year. That's Central Phoenix City.
Yeah, talk about Auburn's schedule to start the year. They play the very first week on the road at Gadsden City, come away with a big win in a game that we both saw a couple weeks ago, and now they have to go to Central Phoenix City, the number 3 team in Class 7A. It's a tough start for Auburn, but hey, if it toughens them up and gets them better over the last 5 or 6 weeks and puts them with some momentum towards a playoff spot, I think Coach Weingarten will be happy.
Tough schedule. You mentioned going to Gadsden City. They had to go to Opelika. They will get to host Central Phoenix. But, I mean, Central Phoenix, I saw them on the road at Prattville. They did just fine. That's a team riddled with college talent, including John Broussard at corner. That will be an interesting one tonight. 6A, let's read them off. Top 10, Clay Chalkville, Spanish Fort, Saraland, Opelika, McAdory, Muscle Shoals, Florence, Benjamin Russell, we mentioned them earlier, Park Crossing, one of the new schools out of Montgomery, and Hillcrest. Clay Chalkville and Hillcrest in Tuscaloosa tonight, and Hillcrest was embarrassed at Clay last year. Clay has been as dominant as any team this year so far, and they show no signs of slowing, but Hillcrest would like to be the one to throw a cog in their wrench here tonight.
Hillcrest, a newcomer to the 6A top 10, and they're trying to earn that ranking here this week against Clay Chalkville. I don't think they fall out with a loss to Clay Chalkville, just considering how dominant Clay has been both last year and now here early this part of this year. A good showing from Hillcrest would be nice, but I like Clay Chalkville to roll at Hillcrest.
I think most people do. I think if Hillcrest can keep it close, they at least stay in the top 10 going forward. Another top 10 matchup, Opelika. We talked about Opelika, Ben Russell earlier. There's another one, though, up in the northwest corner of Alabama where they play some really good football as well, as it will be Muscle Shoals hosting Florence. And I know those two teams, they don't like each other, and when it comes to playoff time, they like to try to beat each other out as far as as far as deep as they can go into the playoffs. Florence made all the way to semifinals last year. They were both, though, beaten by that same Clay Chalkville team we mentioned earlier. Both of them would like to make a statement getting into region play.
Yeah, absolutely. Another one of those rivalries where proximity breeds contempt a little bit. You got two big schools there in 6A that are within about 5 or 10 minutes of each other up in Northwest Alabama. Should be fun to see who gets a foothold in Northwest Alabama to start. And as you mentioned, both teams looking to make a playoff run. Could be a playoff-type quality game up there tonight.
We'll read really quickly through 5A here. St. Paul's, Jackson, Pleasant Grove, J.O. Johnson, Gunnersville, Madison County, Russellville, Calera, Murray, Jordan, Demopolis. A few top 10 matchups in that. Johnson, Russellville, Gunnersville, Madison County, and Demopolis, Calera. UMS Wright leads 4A with Leeds, Cordova, Dadeville, Fayette County, West Blockton, Sax, North Jackson, West Limestone, W.S. Neal behind them. 3A, where we are at here tonight, Madison Academy leads the way. No surprise there. Gordo, as we talked about earlier, number 2. Piedmont, a region rival to these two teams at number 3. Ops, Slocum, Pike County, Walter Wellborn's at 7. Oakman, T.R. Miller, Colbert County, and then, of course, Glencoe just outside at 11. 2A, Fife, Elba, Tanner, G.W. Long, Flomaton, Ranburn, Cleveland, Reeltown, Red Bay, Pickens County. 1A is Maplesville leading the way. Hubbardville, Linden, Cedar Bluff jumps up, and they take on number 5 Spring Garden in a big game tonight. Brantley, Billingsley, McKenzie, Hackleburg, and then tied at 10, Georgiana and Lochapoka. That's it for the top 10 and for the pregame. We'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back and get things started here on the Friday Night Network.
For over 15 years, Advantage Tire has been the go-to place for all your wheel and tire needs. They carry all the top brands as well as do alignments, brake service, and even custom wheels. Advantage also provides exhaust work as well as windshields and wiper blades. Be sure to visit the friendly staff at 5750 Highway 202 in Anniston so you can get your car back on the road in no time. Call Advantage Tire at 256-792-3390.
At Food Outlet, our lineup starts with the freshest produce in town.
When you shop with us, you score every day with the freshest meat and the best selection.
Pre-game, halftime, even after the game, we have all the snacks and soft drinks that you need.
We're your hometown team.
And you'll always score a touchdown at Food Outlet, where great service at low prices is how we do business.
Food Outlet, with locations in Alexandria, Anniston, Bynum, and Pell City. Go to shopfoodoutlet.com for weekly specials. And remember to like us on Facebook.
Oh, hey, you got one of those insurance apps too? You know how this thing works?
No, sorry. Not an app, it's my agent.
In this moment,
no, I'm fine, thanks.
It's good to know you have a trusted, independent auto owner's insurance agent who's there when you need them.
Great. Man, I gotta get one of those.
Auto Owners Insurance, the no problem people.
Calhoun Insurance in Oxford is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
Hi, I'm Shane Denny, General Manager of Sunny King Ford. What does being transparent mean? It means we won't send you flyers saying you won thousands of dollars just to get you on the lot. It means we won't show you fake numbers on your trade or on our car just to make more money. It means we won't mislead you and misguide you. It means we'll be honest. It means we'll look you in the eye and shake your hand and be fair with you on every deal. That's something different about Sunny King Ford. Come see me, Shane Denny, at Sunny King Ford. It's where a handshake still matters.
Need a place to keep your tools?
Or a place to get away from the wife. Whatever your needs are, we got a barn or a carport for you.
With rent-to-own options and no credit checks, we can help you take home the right barn or carport today.
And with 4 different locations, we're just a short drive away.
So come see us in Glencoe, Moody, Asheville, or Attala, and let our family help your family get the barn or carport you deserve.
Now what?
Let's go. That way.
Have fun out there on the compact, capable, and entirely new Pioneer 500 from Honda.
Visit Cycle World in Gadsden today or online at cycleworldonline.com.
Back to Anniston, Alabama, as you see the two teams coming out to the middle of the field for the coin toss, as Glencoe in white traveling to take on the 7th ranked in Class 3A Walter Wellborn Panthers. This is a Region 6 showdown between two top 3 teams in the region last year. Certainly the winner has an inside track into the region title, but Piedmont would like the 3rd ranked Piedmont Bulldogs would have something to say about that, though. And getting ready for the toss. Obviously, Glencoe will be the ones to call it. Great atmosphere here tonight in Anniston. We can see across the way a decent-sized crowd traveled from the Glencoe, Gadsden area out there to make this trip and support their Yellow Jackets. It's gonna be a little tough for you and me tonight with that gold numbering on Glencoe. We found it tough to be able to see numbers even on the videotape from the Gordo game.
Yeah, even in film study, those gold numbers don't show up quite as well as you'd like them to. You kind of see a little bit of a Georgia Tech feel to Glencoe's jerseys with that that Georgia kind of G logo that kind of accentuates those black helmets.
Yeah, I think Gordo, it looked like, won the toss and deferred. So I believe Wellborn will get the football, but we'll find out officially here in just a moment. As you saw Gordo pointing which way that they want the ball, it looks like. Yeah, I do believe that Wellborn will get the ball to start the game. So we're going to get to see that wing T offense against Glencoe's defense to start out. And, you know, one of the things we noticed about, when Glencoe played Gordo gashed Glencoe up the middle a lot on that first drive.
Yeah, it bodes well for Walter Wellborn. The Glencoe was struggling with the rushing attack at Gordo. It was a little bit different for Glencoe in the fact that they were facing a lot of I formation from Gordo. But it's going to be some wing T stuff from Walter Wellborn down their throats. They're going to hope to drive the ball down the field early and really set the tone.
As the Glencoe Yellow Jackets enter the field, getting set here. National anthem play. We're about set to go, and you can see Wellborn's Panthers looking ready to bust through that banner over there. Glencoe jumped the gun a little bit, a little soon on that one. I think they were meant to wait, and they went ahead and stormed through just before the national anthem. And look at the smoke. You know, you reminisce of the old Orange Bowl and the Miami Hurricanes. Wellborn coming out through that smoke here. And here come the Panthers. The 7th-ranked Walter Wellborn Panthers here in 3A, looking to get a big home victory over Glencoe and move to 2. Both teams looking to move to 2-0 and get in the driver's seat of Region 6. And we are just minutes away from kickoff here on the Hill in Anniston, where again Glencoe will kick off to Wellborn to begin this thing. And I'm glad that I brought binoculars for the both of us to look at these numerals for Glencoe.
Yeah, it could present a little bit of a challenge tonight. Glencoe's jerseys. Walter Wellborn going a little bit more straightforward. Black tops, white pants, Black Panther helmets as they play at home tonight here on the Hill in this Region 3A matchup. Should be fun.
Andrew Lang will kick off for the Yellow Jackets. Number 14 in white. He will also play wide receiver tonight and kick the extra points and field goals if need be. I would imagine we'll see some points here from both these teams. DJ Roden going back to receive the kick, number 25. In front of him to either side, you have Montgomery and Harris. And we're just about set here. We're underway from Anniston. And it is Montgomery trying to juke past and gets all the way to the 35-yard line. Nice return for Wellborn to start this one, about a 10-yard return. And let's take a look at the Glencoe defensive starters here first, where we see Bradley, Osment, Scott, 2 Bush brothers playing safety, Roberts at the other corner spot, Cowley at linebacker, Holmes, Owens, Hawk, and Morris.
And guys, it's a 3-3-5 for Glencoe. It's going to be important for those front 3 for Glencoe to really hold up some of those offensive linemen, allow those strong safeties, the Bush brothers and the inside backers to come up and make some plays.
Misdirection, handoff to Harris, who gets about 3 yards on the play.
And a good job by Harris there to get to the outside. Good pursuit from Glencoe's linebackers. They're going to need to pursue sideline to sideline to really keep everything in front of them.
Second and 6. It ends up being about a 3.5, 4-yard gain. McQueen under. Toss play to the near side here. It's Harris again, and he'll get near a first down. He may be right on top of it as he's tackled by Osment. Also, Paul Hickson on that play, number 31. And they're going to stop for looks like they're going to measure this one. That's pretty close. I think the nose of the ball, though, made it.
Yeah, I think 2 plays picks up a first down right here. They should be able to move the chains after this measurement. Good start for Walter Wellborn on offense. To the right and to the left, they've been able to get to the outside. Good job by corner Dalton Roberts there to really set the edge and try to force that play back inside, hold it to just a 6-yard gain.
And not working off Roden to begin the game, working off Pat Harris, doing a good job running to the outside on 2 straight plays. And they'll bring out the sticks. And I don't know, that may be a little short.
Nope.
Nope, he did about half a football. First down to Walter Wellborn after 2 plays. And as you mentioned, getting that run game going and to move the chains early on, that is certainly a good start for Wellborn.
Pretty telling so far. To outside run to the right and an outside run to the left. So far, haven't really tried the middle in between the tackles this Glencoe offense. Let's see if that's coming right here.
1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. Now they go the full wing tee. And they'll give it to Montgomery. And he's got some running room. And again, we're seeing those holes open up that we saw with Gordo was able to expose against Glencoe, and it's not paying early dividends for the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, so far, Glencoe really having trouble controlling the line of scrimmage. They're giving up 4, 5, 6 yards of play here, and for Walter Wellborn, they'll take that every time. Just a steady drip, 3, 4, 5 plays, keep moving the chains.
Give Montgomery 6 yards to make it 2nd and 4. He's now out in the slot, and they fake it with McQueen, but he'll be knocked down by Osment, and I know we'll call his name all night. Pace Osment will be everywhere, and that's what you expect out of Mr. Everything.
That's an outstanding play from Osment. Coming from all the way from his free safety position, he snuffed that play out. It almost looked like he had seen that play in tape before. That play action, little naked bootleg. It's a one-on-one, and he does a great job to make a tackle in space.
So it'll be 3rd and 3, the first 3rd down of the night for Wellborn. They actually hand it off to Harris, who gives it to Montgomery on a misdirection. Great call and a 1st down on a 6-yard pickup. And that's the thing you expect out of the wing T. I asked last week about it. They said no option. It's all misdirection.
A lot of misdirection. There time you see the handoff coming out of the backfield, and then immediately another handoff to Montgomery, who got some good yardage up the middle after the linemen had already moved towards their right to cut off the initial handoff.
So a new set of downs on the 42-yard line of Glencoe. And they'll shift the formation. Go into a bit of a wildcat there. And they'll get only 2 yards before, I believe it was Harris, was stuffed on the play. So make it 2nd and 8.
Yeah, something you don't see every day there. Harris on the direct snap, and you saw Roden and his quarterback, Austin McQueen, able to kind of try to set the edge there and act as lead blockers. Unfortunately, for Walter Wellborn, Glencoe got good penetration there at the line of scrimmage.
Fakes the handoff to Harris, looking to throw. He's got a man. Is caught by Spencer Screws down to the 26-yard line. Well, we didn't expect to see the pass that early, but it worked out big for a nice gain for Walter Wellborn, and already they're inside the 30-yard line.
A rarity here from Walter Wellborn, a 2nd down pass. You had 2nd down along a great route from Spencer Screws, who was tucked in tight on the near side. He runs a corner route and a good ball from McQueen on time and able to beat the coverage for a nice pickup here on 2nd down to make it 1st down as we get close to the red zone.
Just under 3 minutes into this ball game, and Wellborn's already down inside the 30-yard line of Glencoe. They'll hand it off to Roden, who will fight his way for about 3 yards. And I think that's the first time we've called his name tonight running the football. So it'll be 2nd and 7 as he bounced it to the outside. You know, Glencoe runs, we talked about runs a 3-3-5 defense. There's a big-time college football team that runs a 3-3-5 defense. They played last night. Talk about what you saw them last year, TCU. What should we expect to see out of this type of defense?
What you need in a 3-3-5, whether it's TCU or whether we're talking about Glencoe here, is you need those linemen up front to get penetration like you saw right there. They need to be able to tie up those guards in the center and allow those linebackers and those safeties. First, the safeties set the edge, and then the linebackers plug up the holes inside and able to make the plays like what just happened right there. So far, good job by Bradley Scott and Zach Crowley inside to really contain anything between the tackles, and it sets up a 3rd and medium here.
So 3rd and 6. And this is the toughest situation Wellborn's seen on this drive so far. And they're going to have 3 wide. Well, looked like they were going to have 3 wide out to the left, but a timeout called. Not sure who called it. I want to say Wellborn, I would imagine. Yep. So we'll take it with them. We'll come back here in just a moment. We'll be back in about 30 seconds here on the Friday Night Network.
Every day's a great day to stop in a Samco Express Mart. You'll find plenty of snacks to choose from, and Samco has all your favorite drink brands, all nice and cold. You'll find those last-minute light grocery items you need, and a great variety of grab-and-go brands that's sure to cure any case of the munchies. There's lots of candy, mints, and gum, too. Make sure you fuel up before or after the game. With over 30 locations in the area, there's always one close by. Samco Express Mart.
Back here in Anniston, Alabama, where the Walter and Wellborn Panthers opening the ball game up with a 4-minute, 3-second drive so far, and it's now 3rd and 6 from the Glencoe 22, and they're going shotgun.
A little bit of spread action here from Wellborn. This is about as spread as they're going to get. Double tight ends to the right. Running back is Roden next to McQueen.
And Roden will get the carry, and he's got a hole, and he's got It looks like he's going to have a first down. He even gets a little bit more, fighting his way inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. Nice running from DJ Roden, and I think we're going to say that a lot more tonight.
Yeah, great carry by Roden. Good job with the left side of his offensive line. That's Cup and Borders over there opening up a hole out of the shotgun. They spread the defense out a little bit and create a hole right there off left tackle. Good run by Roden as he explodes to the second level and picks up 13.
So 1st and 10 from the 13. They'll put Harris and Roden behind McQueen. They'll put Montgomery on the slot, and they'll give it to Roden again. And he is shut down immediately. I think that was Coleman Morris. No, check that.
I think that's Trevor Owens there.
It is.
The nose guard doing a great job getting off the center and really making sure that Roden had nowhere to go. He couldn't even cut it back because Owens was there so fast.
I think we know whose vision is better between the two of us right at the moment. I thought I saw 60, you saw 51. It's a little tough with those gold numbers, but yeah, Trevor Owens doing a nice job stopping that run, losing a yard, 2nd and 11. And they will fake it. Well, actually, they will give it. And it's fumbled. Fumbled ball on the ground, and Glencoe has it. Glencoe gets it at the 7-yard line, and just like that, Walter Wellborn's long drive, which took up 5 minutes, is all for naught.
It started out like a great play as Harris took the ball. He faked the run. He faked the handoff on the inside, and Montgomery tried to get it to the outside, and the initial tackle is what jarred the ball loose as he tried to go to the ground. He couldn't hang on, and that's a big turnover here for Glencoe as Wellborn drives all the way down. You said 5 minutes and got inside the red zone and will come away empty-handed here as Glencoe takes over 1st and 10 inside their own 10.
Pat Harris coughing up that football, and Glencoe getting all over it, and they'll mark it at about the 6.5, so it'll be 1st and 10 as we see the shotgun and 4 wide here for Glencoe. We'll take a look at the starters here in just a moment. And they try to run immediately with Bush, one of the Bush brothers, I believe Austin Bush, and it's shut down pretty quick. Let's take a look at the Glencoe offensive starters while we have a chance. There you see it, quarterback Chase Wilson. They got Austin Bush running. You see Osment, Lang, and Barkley receiving. Holbrook's at the tight end position, then Owens, Britt, Bass, Long, and Ford across the front. We'll take a look at the defensive starters here after this play.
One thing we got to mention for Glencoe, Taylor Daughtry, their usual linebacker, out tonight with a concussion. Their usual running back, pardon me, out tonight with a concussion. So it will be Bush getting a majority of the carries for Glencoe. Not a great start for him. He loses one there in the initial play.
Wilson, well, I don't know if there was a miscommunication. I think he looked like he was going to hand the ball off at first and then had to take it himself and gets a couple of yards, maybe 3 yards on the play. Now they'll give him 4 all the way to the 9-yard line before he's taken down. It'll be 3rd and 7 as we look at the defensive starters for Wellborn across the front. You see Curry, Harris, and Cupp, and Elston, and they're going to run a 4-3 tonight. Linebackers Roden, Harris, and Thrasher, and then in the backfield it's Harris, Booker, Montgomery, and Screws. So 3rd and 7 from the 9, looking to throw, and that one's off target from the beginning. Looking to Osment was Wilson, and that thing was a duck from the moment it came out of his hand.
Yeah, it looked like he really kind of rushed his throw there. Osment had barely come out of his route before the ball was delivered high and over his head. Good job by Wellborn here to force the 3 and out. They should get good field position here after the punt.
And for the first time, we'll see Pace Osment punting the football. Again, we said he can do it all. He will be punting. He'll be playing defense, offense. He'll be doing punt return, kick return. And when we see Pace, we'll talk a little bit more about it, but he does have the potential to do some dangerous things. For right now, Wellborn has Montgomery back to return the punt. He's standing about the 45-yard line. Osment out, nice punt out of his own end zone. What a punt. That was a high spiral, and you talk about flipping the field. That one's going to go all the way to the 36-yard line. I believe that is...
That's a 54-yard kick.
It is.
There.
Yeah, 54 yards. J.K. Scott, eat your heart out.
There's some teams tomorrow that will be playing on ESPN and ESPN2 and the Big Ten Network who will be asking for 54.
Do you think Pace Osment has a future as a punter?
Goodness gracious.
My goodness.
Well, we talk about Walter Wellborn being able to get good field position there. Did not see a 54-yard kick coming off the foot of Pace Osment, and now all of a sudden back in their own territory is Walter Wellborn.
And what a weapon that really is when you think about it. As the officials call timeout, I think we're getting our water break, mandatory middle of the quarter water break. So we'll take a timeout. We'll be back in 30. You're watching Glencoe and Wellborn tied at 0 here on the Friday Night Network.
Your love will bloom with the Romance Bridal Collection. Each ring is a mirror to the natural splendor of sparkling diamonds with exquisitely crafted 18-karat gold designs. Every romance piece is exceptional in both quality and style and comes with a lifetime guarantee that assures its everlasting beauty. Come see Phyllis and the team at Glencoe Jewelry Sales for the Romance Bridal Collection and all of your jewelry needs.
Back here in Anniston, tied at 0 early. Both teams have had an offensive possession, 5:28 to go in the first. Wellborn drove all the way down inside the 15 before coughing it up at the 6. And then Glencoe proceeded to go 3 and out and punt it away. And my goodness, we didn't expect the field to get flipped so well by Pace Osmond. Why shouldn't we expect this? He is, after all, probably the most important player on Glencoe's team right now. And it puts Wellborn in an interesting position that they probably didn't expect.
Yeah, Wellborn looked to get good field position there. In fact, Montgomery actually set up for that punt on the opposing 45. So he was thinking, you know, maybe I fair catch it around the 45 and we've got 45 yards to pay dirt. Instead, Wellborn's now got a mark 64 yards to get to the end zone.
A 54-yard punt by Osmond, and they hand it to Montgomery, who finds a hole up the middle before being drugged down for about 6 yards on the play. Nice run from Montgomery to get this drive started, and more of the same that we saw earlier in the first drive.
Yeah, already you're seeing this three-headed monster of Harris, Roden, and Montgomery go to work here. 4, 5, 6 yards of carry seemingly every snap.
And while McQueen got dropped the one time he did run, he has completed a pass, and he showed last week that he has the ability on the misdirection. If he can fake you out well enough, he can get some yardage. And it's 2nd and 4. And he'll fake and throw again. This time it is tipped and intercepted. It is picked off by Dalton Roberts, and Roberts is gone. No one will touch him. Touchdown, Yellow Jackets. And just like that, the passing game, not Wellborn's strong suit, and it comes back to bite him. He tried to look for number 8. As I try to pull my card up here, that was Austin Tucker he was looking for. Tucker tipped the ball in the air and then right into the hands of Dalton Roberts, who had a convoy. No one was going to get anywhere near him.
Yeah, we talked earlier in the open about how the passing game was going to be a struggle for Walter Wellborn. That time they went back to the exact same play they had success on the first drive, the corner route about 10 to 15 yards down the field. Good coverage by Roberts. A good throw probably beats him. It goes just off the hands of Tucker, right into the waiting hands of corner Dalton Roberts. And like you said, no one was going to catch him. And just like that, it's 7-0 in favor of the visitors from Glencoe.
Lang's extra point up and good, as he said, 7-0, 4:40 to go in the first. Back with more, Glencoe 7, Wellborn 0.
Oops, had a fender bender? Have them tow it or take it yourself to Wesley's Paint and Body. Baker Reynolds and his guys have been this area's go-to team for quality automotive body repair and paint work for years. All makes and models, foreign or domestic. They take them crashed and make them look like new. And with Wesley's larger new facility, including 2 full-size paint booths, they can get you fixed up fast. Always free estimates, best price on repair work, insurance claims welcomed, and service with a smile. That's Wesley's Paint and Body, Highway 78 East in Anniston.
Back here on the hill in Anniston, 7-0 Glencoe after a pick 6 from Dalton Roberts. And on a tip drill play. It was the same play we saw earlier on a play action, and McQueen rolls left, throws. This time it was to Tucker. Instead of Screws, Tucker tips it up in the air, and it makes it easier for Roberts to grab it, as we see Montgomery looking to return another kickoff. And he's going to find his way to the 33-yard line to begin this drive. So Wellborn really offensively has looked the better of the two after 3 series that we've seen. We've only seen Glencoe on 1 so far, but turnovers will obviously kill you.
Turnovers will loom large, regardless of what level of football you're playing. Turnovers, especially interceptions that get returned for touchdowns, of course. But yeah, Wellborn's going to have to take care of the football here, come back, settle down, maybe get McQueen either a nice, easy throw early or just keep looking to establish that ground game like they have been so far. I mean, they've been getting 4, 5, 6 yards on the ground with Montgomery and Roden. Time to get back to work.
Back under center is McQueen. And I don't think we're going to see too many play-action passes here on this drive. Handoff. It's to Harris. He finds a running lane and gets about 7 on the play to the 40-yard line. Nice gain for Walter Wellborn to start the drive, and that's really been the story for Wellborn. They've really started out drives well, running the football, doing what they know how to do.
Yeah, they've established a ground game for sure. Great job by the pulling guard. That's right guard Dalton Epps there. He's a junior. He and Chandler Cup really did a great job creating a hole through that left side for Roden to run through.
So it'll be 2nd and 3 from their own 40. As I think, looks like Thrasher may be getting under center here. Now, we saw this some last week where they threw Thrasher in at the quarterback a few times. And they'll fake the handoff, and Thrasher will keep it to the 42, so it'll make it 3rd and 1. Good call there to use Thrasher's, Thrasher has a little bit more speed than his counterpart McQueen, and it works out to make it a 3rd and very manageable.
3rd down and 1. Look for Wellborn to try to run either off left tackle or right tackle. That's where they've had success so far. Not necessarily in between the tackles, but maybe using one of those guys to kind of run behind and let Roden pick up that 1st down.
Montgomery will be in the shotgun. They sent McQueen out to the far side. And as we expected, they'll just run a power play and get the 1st down to the 49. It has been all Wellborn in the run game. It has dominated Glencoe's defense. But again, the one mistake with the interception, and that's why Glencoe leads 7-0 at the moment.
That time, great job by Roden, really setting the edge there and letting Montgomery run behind him, pick up a 1st down and then some off the left side.
So a new set of downs near midfield. And they'll put Roden behind. McQueen looking to go more towards looks more like a flex bone here that you see at Georgia Tech. And they'll hand it off, and Roden's got room, and Roden, if he doesn't get grabbed by the back of his jersey, he probably has 20 yards. He ends up getting 9 on the play. So it'll be 2nd and 1 at the 42-yard line. What a run from Roden up the middle, and he looked like he had daylight, except for one hand.
Shout out to Jeff Ford there, who got a big paw on his jersey and kind of pulled him down, allowed Pace Osment and Austin Bush to kind of make the tackle there and save like a 9-yard gain that could have turned into 29 or 39.
They'll officially mark it inside the 43. They're looking to get to about the 41.5. And they'll put a jumbo wing T in there. And the handoff is to Harris. And it's an easy 1st down for the Panthers. The fake to Roden, give it to Harris, and steady dose of that will get you into the end zone soon enough, as long as you don't cough it up. They've had 2 turnovers tonight.
Yeah, so far 2 turnovers have loomed large for Walter Wellborn, but once again, driving into Glencoe territory here, moving the ball effectively. As long as they stay out of 3rd down and long and keep picking up good gains on 1st and 2nd down, Walter Wellborn will be just fine tonight.
And you can really say that 1st turnover actually led to the 2nd turnover, which led to the touchdown, and it was more of a bit of a chain of events, really, as we go to new set of downs on the 38-yard line of Glencoe. Toss play to Harris to the near side. He's got running room, and he's got a 1st down. 11-yard gain to the 27. Pat Harris fighting his way. That's what we're seeing a lot from these backs from Wellborn. They're fighting for extra yards. They're not just being allowing themselves to be taken down the 1st initial tackle.
Yeah, it takes a lot to get these running backs down, whether it be Montgomery, whether it be Harris or Roden. It takes at least 1 defender, maybe 2, to pull them down, and even then the backs are still falling forward. That time another great job by Dalton Epps to get out there and allow for a nice gain on the outside.
Minute 30 to go. They're on the 26-yard line are the Panthers of Walter Wellborn. Glencoe leading 7-0. Handoff to Roden up the middle will get about 3 yards on the play before being taken down by Luke Long. And again, Blake's a lot easier for Blake to read these numerals than it is for me. I'm going to try to keep up as best I can. You might hear a little pause every now and then from me, but like I said, those gold numerals are a little tough to read, especially from this booth. I thought it would be a little easier at night under the lights, but not so much. Jumbo wing T, and somebody jumped, and I thought it was the defense at first, but this could go either way. Remember, in high school, neutral zone infraction means it's an offside technically. You can't just jump and move back.
Right. And it looked like that left side of that line. You saw it first. That left side of that line for Glencoe looked like it moved first, and it did.
Yeah.
So our first penalty of the night will go against the Glencoe defense.
And that was something that helped Wellborn big. Glencoe cannot afford to get the yellow handkerchief thrown on them all night tonight, because that's what helped lead to Wellborn's success against Sachs.
Yeah, and you can see how influential penalties can be, especially to a Wellborn offense that requires a lot of running the football. You had him a little bit behind the chains there at 2nd down and 7 or 8. Now all of a sudden it's a very manageable 2nd and 2, allows Wellborn to really open up the playbook here late in the first quarter.
They go back to that jumbo wing tee, but yeah, 2nd and 2, you could really pull out anything that you want, and they'll hand it to Montgomery going left, and he's got nowhere to go. He may have gotten half a yard before he's stuffed. Nice job containing the outside. And I think Osment was in on that. I believe Dalton Roberts may have been on that. Also leaving his usual tight end spot, playing linebacker in on that play, I believe also was Bradley Scott.
Good play by Bradley Scott. Way to pursue to the left sideline. Sets up a big 3rd down when we come back to start this 2nd quarter.
Yeah, we'll take a timeout as they do. In the first quarter, it's 7-0. Glencoe leads. We'll be back with the 2nd quarter here on the Friday Night Network's FNN2 debut.
In this moment, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes or if your neighbor has the same insurance that you do. What matters right now is the quality of your independent insurance agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance.
Arnell Insurance in Oxford is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
At Food Outlet, our lineup starts with the freshest produce in town.
When you shop with us, you score every day with the freshest meat and the best selection.
Pregame, halftime, even after the game, we have all the snacks and soft drinks that you need.
We're your hometown team.
And you'll always score a touchdown at Food Outlet, where great service at low prices is how we do business.
Food Outlet, with locations in Alexandria, Anniston, Bynum, and Pell City. Go to shopfoodoutlet.com for weekly specials. And remember to like us on Facebook.
Back in Anniston, Alabama, at the Hill, the home of the Walter Wellborn Panthers, they trailed Glencoe 7-0, but Blake Wellborn once again driving, looking good on offense, and for the 2nd time tonight inside the red zone.
You know, we think about
At Food Outlet, our
not the same position that Wellborn got in earlier when they coughed the football up on their first drive.
Yeah, I don't think Wellborn's going to want to remember that. That was a fumble by Pat Harris. But another good job by Wellborn picking up a 3rd down and short. That's really their strength in this offense. They can pick up 2nd down and medium, 3rd down and short. As long as they keep staying in those situations, they're going to be fine the rest of the night.
They line up 2 tight ends to the right, and they hand it to Roden, who breaks a couple of tackles, is going to get outside, and he's in. Touchdown, Walter Wellborn. DJ Roden, my goodness. That's a man's man for you right there, Blake.
Breaking not 1, not 2, but probably 3 Glencoe defenders grasped right there. Pace Osmond came all the way down from the safety slot to try to make the play. Could not come up with it as Roden was able to escape and get to the pylon for 6.
So they'll get set for the extra point, which will be taken by Jordan Montgomery, one of the 3 running backs you see on the night for the Panthers. And just like that, it took 3 drives, but Wellborn finally got in. The rarely seen toe kick coming. It's up, and it is good. 7-all, Wellborn ties it up. Glencoe will get the ball back when we come back here on FNN2.
Every day is a great day to stop in a Samco Express Mart. You'll find plenty of snacks to choose from, and Samco has all your favorite drink brands, all nice and cold. You'll find those last-minute light grocery items you need, and a great variety of grab-and-go brands that's sure to cure any case of the munchies. There's lots of candy, mints, and gum, too. Make sure you fuel up before or after the game. With over 30 locations in the area, there's always one close by. Samco Express Mart.
Back in Anniston, Alabama at Wellborn High School, Walter Wellborn, the Panthers, tie the game up behind DJ Roden in a 13-yard touchdown run. And my goodness, and Blake, one of the things we talked about, Wellborn's already had 3 drives. Glencoe's had the ball once and only had it for a 3 and out. At this point, you got to imagine Glencoe's defense is getting worn down really quickly, and Wellborn's defense has barely seen the field.
Yeah, Wellborn's defense really hasn't had to be much on the field at all, as Wellborn's controlled the ball for a majority of this first quarter and 30 seconds as we are here into the second quarter. 2 drives of 60-plus yards. So for the Glencoe defense, their best friend right now is the Glencoe offense. Glencoe really needs to get something going here early, stay out of a 3 and out, and really try to move the ball down the field on Wellborn's defense, who, as you mentioned, has only seen the field for 3 plays thus far.
Montgomery will kick it off. Osment's back to return. And for the first time, we'll see Pace Osment return a football. He's dynamic, folks. He has the ability to get away, and he breaks 1 tackle. Breaks another tackle to the 30, 35, to the 45. And the whistle blows. He stepped out at the 42-yard line at his own 42. He doesn't realize it. He thinks he's still going. And what a bad break for Pace Osment. He was gone.
He made a great couple cuts, first about the 15, and then he made another cut, made a man miss about the 25. He almost stayed in bounds. Good call by the trailing referee here to mark him out just across the 40-yard line. Good field position here for Glencoe, unlike their last drive when they started inside their own 10. Let's see if Coach Osmond's group can come out here and get some momentum going on offense. They'll spread the field here early. Looks like 2 or 3 wide with a running back in the backfield.
Are you concerned at all about trying to use as much clock as you can to give your defense some rest at this point after what they've been through?
You'd like to come out here and run the football a little bit. They come out in a little bit of a wing offset motion here, but in reality, you're just trying to get your offense in a little bit of a rhythm here. If you use some clock, that's good. But really, you'd rather just see your offense pick up a first down or 2, no matter how much clock it takes up.
They'll go with Cade Allred, the sophomore in the backfield, number 9. You see, I believe, Aaron Bush here on the near side, number 21 in the slot. To his left is Craig Barkley. Didn't see much of Allred in the Gordo game, so getting our first look at him. And they'll fake it. Wilson rolling right. And Harris on top of him. A nice play by Montgomery, and they're going to throw the flag. I don't know about that, Blake, personally. Did he get the hand? Did he hold him on the back of the jersey?
It looked like really good coverage from Montgomery there. You saw him kind of sniff out the crossing route, really almost double coverage there from Wellborn. I think the thing that attracted that flag from the back judge is Montgomery had that left arm wrapped around the shoulder of the wide receiver. I think without that left arm, he makes a great play on the ball with his right hand. There probably wouldn't have been a penalty. But from that back judge's perspective, all he sees is that left arm wrapped around him. It's going to be 15 yards against the Wellborn defense.
Goodness, all the way to the 39-yard line of Wellborn. All of a sudden, Glencoe in big business. And you see DJ Roden trying to encourage Jordan Montgomery and say, hey, shake it off. We got to still play defense. As Wilson looks to lead the troops, and now Austin Bush is in the backfield. You'll hear us call Austin and Aaron Bush throughout the night. And Wilson keeps it on the read option. And he breaks a tackle to the 30 out at the 28-yard line. What a run from Chase Wilson. And that's a dynamic player right there and a big advantage for Glencoe going forward to be able to use that read option.
Yeah, he's not a big kid, Chase Wilson. He's probably only about 5'10", 5'11", but he's a really good runner. He sees holes really well, and he's able to break a lot of tackles for a guy his size. That time, he broke through the arm tackle of the corner, Pat Harris, here on the near side, and was able to pick up what looks like it'll be another first down for this Glencoe offense.
5'8", $175 is Chase Wilson.
Wow, I said 5'10". I gave him a couple inches. Goodness gracious.
But Drew Brees pities him right now.
Drew Brees does pity him, but hey, a great read right there as the defensive end crashed down, and looks like Glencoe's back to the ground.
And Bush takes the handoff. Will get inside the red zone. That is Austin Bush, number 20, to the 18-yard line, and just like that, near a first down, about half a yard shy. So it'll be second, and we'll call it inches. As Glencoe quickly moving down the field. Good news is a chance at a scoring drive, but the bad news is for your defense not getting as much rest as they probably would like.
Your defense is over there trying to get as much rest as possible, but good job so far by the Glencoe offense. So far, you're seeing two different ways to establish the ground game for Wellborn, coming out of that wing tee, using a lot of misdirection, but also a lot of power plays, a lot of lead plays, using their guards and tackles as well as their additional backs in the backfield. For Glencoe, they're really able to stretch the defense, go 2 or 3 wide, tight end on either side, and they're able to use a lot of read option, a little bit of power game, and it looks like they're going to have another first down here.
So forget 2nd and inches. It'll be 1st and 10 for Glencoe at the 18-yard line when they resume. And that first drive, they were very inept. They only spent 3 plays on the field. Wellborn's defense looked really good. This drive has been a much different story.
It's amazing what a different field position looks like. I mean, under pressure there was the Glencoe offense early. When you get the ball inside your own 10 and you just got the ball off a mistake, immediately in your mind is, okay, let's not make a mistake here in our own territory. This time they started just across the 40-yard line thanks to the return by Pace Osment, and now they're all the way in the red zone looking to come up with the lead here midway through the second quarter.
Wilson takes a snap, will hand it off to Allred, who breaks a tackle. And a lot of broken tackles here tonight as he makes about a 6-yard gain to the 12. A lot of broken tackles here tonight.
Yeah, a lot of missed tackles, but you've got a lot of elusive runners in the field. And another thing that's going to contribute to those missed tackles as we go on throughout the night is we talked about a little bit the open. A lot of these guys are going to be playing both ways throughout the night. That's just a reality of 3A football. And so as guys get a little bit more tired, you may see a little less wrapping up and some arm tackles get broken.
And you continue to see the interchanging of Allred and Bush in the backfield. Bush is there now. He will get the carry. He's got room. He's gone. Touchdown, Glencoe.
Great job by the Glencoe offense there. That time it wasn't really a read option. It was more of a sweep to the right. They realized that they had outflanked the defense to that side. 2 wide receivers put 2 good blocks on the Wellborn secondary guys to that right side. Splitting the hole was Bush and finding pay dirt. An excellent answer here by the Glencoe offense as they go down the field 58 yards and take the lead here.
And just like that, Glencoe strikes quickly, takes the lead back. Lang's extra point is down the middle. 14-7, the Yellow Jackets lead in this 3A Region 6 showdown. We'll be back.
People come from everywhere to get their deal from Bill Stanford. They come from Ashland, Brompton, Lineville. They come from Moody, Munford, Coldwater, Birmingham, Talladega, Lincoln, Riverside, Heflin. There's no better deal than a Talladega Bill deal.
Right now, all Ram trucks are at or below supplier price. Save over $2,700 on this 2015 Ram 1500 at Bill Stanford.
Come on out to Bill Stanford in Talladega.
So a big drive for the Glencoe Yellow Jackets, a 58-yard drive that ends with a Austin Bush touchdown. And really, you talk about a three-headed monster, a steady dose this time for Glencoe of Allred, Bush, and quarterback Chase Wilson.
Yeah, so far Bush and Allred doing a really good job filling in for the injured running back Daughtry, who's out tonight with concussion, as we mentioned back at the open. Bush doing a great job finding the holes, and really Wilson doing a great job with his feet, making the right reads all throughout that drive. That one time the defensive end came down a little too far, he was able to pull it out and pick up some solid gains. Good answer from Glencoe. Pressure's on Wellborn right here.
And I think you and I thought that the loss of Daughtry would be big because he's so stocky, so low to the ground, such a great back, as that one is pooched to Montgomery, who will take it at the 28. And he'll be down at about 38 to begin the Wellborn drive with 9:04 to go in the first half.
And Aaron, we talked a little bit about the kicking game in the open. Very concerted effort here from Glencoe to make sure they do not kick it deep to DJ Roden. They're very content to pooch it towards Montgomery and give Wellborn some field position up around near the 35 or the 40-yard line.
So 1st and 10, the drive starts at the 39-yard line for the Panthers. They only have one man in the back. Again, a little bit of a flex bone look. They'll motion and do a speed sweep with, looks like Harris down to the 45-yard line, just outside the 45. So we'll call it a gain of 6. Yeah, they'll mark it right at, well, the yard marker will mark at the 45. The ball's just a little inside the 45. We'll call it a second and short 4.
Second down and a short 4 sounds about right. That time you see Walter Wellborn come out, and that's straight. You've mentioned Georgia Tech a couple times tonight. That's straight out of the Georgia Tech playbook, that old speed sweep. They're able to get across the right edge and pick up a solid gain on first down.
They like to mix that in with the wing tee every now and then. It's been very effective. Heavy to the right. They hand it to Roden, who gets through, and if not for Pace Osmond, he's looking at another 10, 15, maybe even all the way to the end zone. Osmond, nice job to get the legs of Roden, and Osmond's really been the most solid tackler here tonight on both sides.
Yeah, he's been able to crash down from that free safety position. Since he hasn't really had to worry about anything in coverage, he's been able to play the run and really be able to read plays from about 10 to 15 yards away from the line of scrimmage. That time, you're right, he probably does save at least a big gain, if not a touchdown, on that run by Roden. And just like that, Wellborn's already back in Glencoe territory yet again.
So first down inside the 50 now, as McQueen will keep it. He'll get a solid 4 yards. And actually the referees maybe even giving him the 43. It's close, it's about in the middle. So we'll call it, yeah, they're gonna give him 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5. Nice run by McQueen. His first solid run of the night. He got knocked down earlier when he tried a misdirection, but this time he just goes up the middle, and it's a solid 5-yard gain. We'll call it 2nd and 5 from the 43. 2 receivers to the left here. They have Harris and Roden behind McQueen, and Roden gets it. And I think he's got a first, well, I think he's just short of a first down.
Another good job. We mentioned Pace Osmond earlier. Pace Osmond again coming up from that safety position, taking out the legs of DJ Roden. That's the way to do it, especially when you've got an explosive runner like Roden or Montgomery. You got to take out their legs and wrap up down low if you want to stop their forward progress. That time, that tackle leaves Roden just short of the sticks. It's going to be 3rd down, and as you mentioned, probably about half a yard.
3rd and 1 officially. McQueen bringing the play in. And yeah, as I probably expect, they're going to line jumbo. They send screws out, though. And you see that 3-3-5. They're just going to run right up the middle. No resistance from Glencoe. I don't know if Glencoe expected the quarterback sneak. Easy 4 yards from McQueen.
Yeah, McQueen gets right up the middle. You don't see Walter Wellborn go with a quick count very often, but that's exactly what they did there. They got up to the line of scrimmage, snapped the ball in a hurry, really caught the Glencoe front off guard. It's an easy first down, and the chains keep moving, and the clock keeps rolling here for Wellborn.
Under 6:40 here in the first half. McQueen fakes the handoff to Roden, gives it to Harris, who gets all the way to the 30 before he's brought down. And he is brought down by Barkley.
That time, good job by number 57, Chandler Cupp, really being able to move the defensive end off the line of scrimmage, win the battle up front, and able to create a hole for those big running backs to run through. Another 4, 5, 6 yards here for Walter Wellborn on first down.
I said Barkley, but not sure if it was Barkley or Bush, actually. I think it may have been actually Austin Bush, number 20 instead. I thought I saw 22. And they're going to go with the one-back set again. And it's Roden. And Roden's got room to the 24-yard line. And it's just all day with that running game as the officials call timeout for a water break. So we'll take a quick timeout as well with them. Back to talk about more here. It's 14-7, Glencoe leads.
Mr. G's is Glencoe's friendly neighborhood hometown grocery.
Oh, gotta go. Gotta get this, and this.
You'll always find fresh produce.
Meat. Gotta get meat.
And the best meat anywhere at Mr. G's. They'll even cut it to order.
Gotta get this, and this. Yep, gotta get that. Gotta go.
You'll find all your favorite soft drinks and snacks, too.
That was fast. Checkout line, here I come.
Thank you for shopping at Mr. G's, where we get you out quickly.
Oh, thank goodness.
In Aniston at the officials' timeout. And Blake, once again, Glencoe just cannot stop this run game.
Yeah, Walter Wellborn really having their way at the line of scrimmage.
Mr. G's is
Wellborn with Cupp and Beatles and Borders and Epps have really just been able to set the line of scrimmage and move up to the second level. and really open up some big holes for Roden and Harris to go forward.
Tell me if I'm reading this right, by the way. Are my eyes, am I blind right now?
Wow.
I'm reading some scores from Twitter. It says Sachs has scored 40 points in the first quarter, and I think they're a little miffed about last week.
Goodness gracious.
So ball's handed off to Montgomery, who finds a seam and gets down to about the 17-yard line.
You'll never guess who was in on the stop.
Face Osment.
Osment with his third straight tackle out of that free safety slot. And on one hand, great effort from Osment to come down from 10 yards past the line of scrimmage to make the stop. On the other hand, it probably doesn't bode well for your linemen and linebackers that Osment's having to come up and make so many plays in the run game.
Yeah, it's not going to be good if he's got 20 tackles at the end of the night, which he's on pace to look like he's going to get. They mark it just outside the 17, so it's 2nd and 4. And Osment's your last line of defense, really, if you're Glencoe. They're going to give it to Harris, who is stuffed immediately. Just a nice, solid shot at the line. And I'm trying to see under the pile who the man was that came up with that tackle. And I think it may have been Austin Bush.
Yeah, Austin Bush was there. Trevor Owens did a really good job, the nose guard, of really creating penetration and stopping that crossbuck, eliminating that cutback lane that Roden was looking for. All of a sudden, it's a 3rd down, and this is probably the longest 3rd down that Wellborn's had in their last 2 drives.
They're going to throw Roden into the slot, and they've got a flex bone look without the B-back. Fake the handoff. They give it to Montgomery, and he is going to get a 1st down inside the 15, just outside the 10 to the 11. And again, misdirection plays a factor. Glencoe not able to spot the man in time and gets about 6 yards.
A lot of misdirection here early from Walter Wellborn. We knew that was what they were going to do coming in. That time they spread the field a little bit, and that misdirection leaves the middle of the field open in between the tackles. Good job by Montgomery to burst through the hole and pick up the necessary yardage for the 1st down.
So 1st and 10 again, just outside the 10-yard line. It's Harris who will get to the 8 for a 3-yard gain. I mean, what's impressed you the most so far about this Wellborn run attack?
I think it's their offensive line up front for Wellborn. You think with a team that runs the wing T, they must have a dominant offensive line. Their offensive line really isn't that big. Like, you don't see a lot of huge guys, 6'1", 6'2", 270, 280 pounds. It's a lot of, I don't want to say average-looking guys, but they're not huge offensive linemen that you would typically see in a heavy ground game. They do a great job, though. They have great effort to the line of scrimmage, and they've really been able to get to the 2nd level and create some holes for these explosive backs.
And McQueen takes the snap, and Roden's tripped up immediately. Great play by number 55. That's Samuel Hawk.
Yeah, that time Samuel Hawk coming out of his middle linebacker position just snuck right through the left guard in the center slot, that A gap as most people like to call it, and just got enough of the ankle of the running back to bring him down in the backfield. 3rd down and long for Wellborn, not a spot they're usually comfortable in.
And they're going to go jumbo, well, almost jumbo wing T, kind of half wing T, half flex bone. They motion Montgomery. Fake, and Montgomery's wide open, and he gets out of the tackle. What a run by Montgomery. Touchdown, Wellborn. That looked like it was going to go nowhere. Great job by Montgomery to juke the defender. And I don't know if it was, I think it may have been Pace Osment that he got by on that one.
For all we say about Walter Wellborn's run game and really being able to pound it down people's throats, that's a pretty new school concept that you see a lot now, especially in college football, moving your athletes from left to right across a formation and getting them one-on-one in space. That time Montgomery was able to get one-on-one in space with the tackler, made a man miss, and that was all it took to get to the end zone.
Snap was high, but they get it down, kicks up, it's good. It's tied at 14. And, you know, you talk about the offensive line, think about this for a second. Scary thought, they're all juniors.
They're all juniors. That bodes well for the future of Walter Wellborn.
Back with more, tied at 14.
When you wanted fast, when you needed speed, we've always been the one. Well, now, the fastest just got faster. Introducing Ultra 100 Internet from Cable One. Experience speeds up to 100 megs. Welcome to Ultra 100 Internet.
Cable One, the fastest just got faster.
46-0 now.
Well, as you heard coming back here, it's now, we were looking in on the Sachs score. It's Sardis, the poor suckers that are the victim of the Sachs Wildcats right now across town. 46-0, according to my sidekick Blake Gardner here. My goodness, are they ever miffed about last week? And
yeah.
Sardis just ran in at the wrong time.
Yeah, tough luck for Sardis. Really, it's one of those where you start the game poorly, and then you really just can't turn it around, and it just snowballs on you.
But 46 in the first quarter, they're on pace for nearly 200 points.
It sounds a little bit like what Georgia Tech did to poor Alcorn State last night over in Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, actually, speaking of Georgia Tech, they hold the record for the most lopsided victory over, was it Cumberland, I think was the name.
I believe it was Cumberland. I think you're
over
right.
200 points in that game. So Montgomery will kick it off. It's tied 14 apiece here. That one's low. And Glencoe better pick that up. It's Osment. And he gets past the tackle. He gets the outside, gets the corner, and Harris gets him at the 40-yard line. Nice job by Pat Harris to get him down. Otherwise, Osment was looking at another potential big return. He did get a big return, but another potential touchdown that he was looking at earlier. And once again, Glencoe in really good field position after their first drive, having to start inside their own 10-yard line.
Yeah, they started at the 42 last drive after the return from Osment, and this time Montgomery tried to squib it and keep it out of Osment's hands. Osment still came up to about the 25, picked it up, and was able to find some room off to the right side. Great stiff arm before he was finally brought down just across the 40. Like you mentioned, good field position and a little bit of time to work with, just under 3 minutes here to try to take the lead before halftime.
So Wilson hands it to Allred, who only gets about a yard or two before he's taken down. I think Curry got the tackle.
Yeah, Curry was in there along with linebacker Jake Thrasher. Good job to control the A gap right there as the read option was looking right up the middle.
So it'll be second, and it'll be 2nd and 8. They'll give them about 2.5 yards on the play. Back into that wing offset once again. Reed again, and this time Wilson will keep it. And he gets past one and fights his way for more yardage after the first down before being taken down by Tucker. It's all the way to the Wellborn 44. Nice run by Wilson.
Wilson's a tough runner out of that quarterback slot. That time, another great job. He reads the defensive end. That's Jamron Curry over there, the sophomore. He crashes down, so he just sees the defensive end come to him. He keeps it, gets around the outside, and is able to get to the second level and pick up big yardage for Glencoe.
Barkley and Aaron Bush on the near side. They've got Austin Bush in the backfield. Again, in that offset, they've got Thrasher out on the far side. And not going to get very far. Actually picks up about 3 yards running all the way east and west, and that's not going to get you very much instead of trying to run north and south. And pardon me, I misspoke. It was Andrew Lang that was lined up on the far side there as we get a timeout for Glencoe. We'll take that with them. Be back in just a few seconds here on FNN2.
Hi, I'm Shane Denny, General Manager of Sunny King Forward. What does being transparent mean? It means we won't send you flyers saying you want thousands of dollars just to get you on the lot. It means we won't show you fake numbers on your trade or on our car just to make more money. It means we won't mislead you and misguide you. It means we'll be honest. It means we'll look you in the eye and shake your hand and be fair with you on every deal. That's something different about Sunny King Forward. Come see me, Shane Denny, at Sunny King Forward. It's where a handshake still matters.
Back at the Hill, 1:40 to go in the first half, tied at 14. Wellborn and Glencoe in a 3A Region 6 showdown. The 7th-ranked Panthers really should be leading this ball game by 1 or 2 scores, but Glencoe's opportunistic ways have them tied right now.
Turnovers the big equalizer in games like this. Wellborn had a drive inside the red zone, come to a halt after a fumble on their first drive, and then a pick six on their second drive from a scrimmage gave Glencoe an early lead. Glencoe driving right here inside Wellborn territory. Got 2 timeouts and a minute 40 to work with here, trying to get on the board once again and take the lead going into halftime.
For those of you Glencoe and Wellborn fans wondering about a Piedmont score, we'll try to get on top of that for you in just a moment. In the meantime, it's 2nd down and 7 from the 41 of Wellborn as Wilson gets back in shotgun again in that offset. It'll be Bush behind him. And Austin Bush gets the handoff, will cut back up the middle and breaks a tackle or two and then fights his way close to a first down. It'll be 3rd and about 2 yards to go. Nice run from Austin Bush.
Very tough run from Austin Bush, bouncing off a tackler or two. Good block there by the right tackle, Joseph Bass, to really allow for a cutback there by Bush. Glencoe will call one more timeout here. They've got 1 left and a minute 25 facing a big 3rd down here just inside the 36 of Wellborn.
Score update from the Piedmont-Asheville game. It's the Bulldogs leading. Well, it's Bulldogs versus Bulldogs. It's the Piedmont Bulldogs leading 13-0. A little closer than one would expect. Asheville coming off a big 59-0 victory, so maybe the Bulldogs from Asheville maybe have a little say in getting that 4th spot in Region 6, but Piedmont so far controlling that game as expected.
Asheville hanging around here early. That's a good sign for them. Piedmont maybe off to a little bit of a slow start, but I expect them to find their form. They should be okay. Back over here at Wellborn, minute 25. 1 timeout to work with here for Glencoe. It's a big 3rd down. They probably need to pick it up and then some to get into field goal range. But they've got plenty of time here. They run a hurry-up spread, so once they pick up the 1st down, no need to call timeout. They'll have another play called and in and get ready to roll as they try to get back on the board.
What do you call if you're Lee Osmond and the Glencoe Yellow Jackets?
I think you got it. I mean, I think you've got to stick to your bread and butter so far. The read option out of that wing offset that we've called it has really been good. I mean, they've taken their offensive linemen, have been able to get to the 2nd level, create some holes, and really that read has paid off as they've kind of picked on that defensive end, Jameron Curry, over there on the right side.
Once again, the offset with a tight end on the left side. The 4-3 defense from Wellborn, 3rd and 2. And they'll fake and pass. It's got a man. I think it's Roberts that caught it at the 15-yard line. Yeah, Dalton Roberts getting the big pass, getting the big catch down to the 15, and 1st and 10 Glencoe with a minute 19, and all of a sudden they're really in business.
That's what happens when teams who can establish the run have happen. It opens up holes in the back of the defense. That time they brought down a couple of safeties to kind of help, and it brought down a safety to help stop the run, and they had a seam route wide open off the play action. Glencoe's in business now inside the red zone, a minute 11 and counting.
Wilson will hand off to Austin Bush. Bush cuts back up the middle. He'll get a few yards before finding about 5 black shirts that bring him down. Call it a gain of, we'll say, 3.
That was the same play they got the touchdown on earlier. That time, good pursuit by Thrasher out of his linebacker position and Roden out of his outside linebacker position to cut it off and force it back inside to where they knew some black shirts would be waiting. 44 seconds now on a 2nd down and 7.
And Glencoe's letting this clock run, taking way too long to get the play call in. It's down to 10 seconds on the play clock already. Wilson will fake the handoff. Pass got a man open. It's Roberts. He'll cut inside. Touchdown, Glencoe. They went back to the same play they just did a couple of plays ago.
They found the seam in this Wellborn defense. That time, once again, you mentioned it, play action right off the look. You get the linebackers coming up to the line of scrimmage. It opens up that seam. It's a one-on-one with the safety Turner, who just can't get over there in time. An easy cutback and an easy touchdown for Glencoe as they find pay dirt with just 29 seconds left till halftime.
So 20-14 with just under 30 seconds to go. Lang will come out for the extra point. And remember, Glencoe gets the ball to start the 2nd half. So more bad news for Wellborn fans out there as that one's high and through. Good. 30 seconds to go in the half. It's 21-14 Glencoe.
I am never getting married. Never. Guaranteed.
You picked a beautiful ring.
Thank you. We're never having kids.
I love it here.
We are never moving to the suburbs.
We are never getting one of those. We're never having another kid.
I'm pregnant.
I'm never letting go.
For all the nevers in life, talk to State Farm agent Charles Goff in Rainbow City. State Farm is there.
Back at Anniston, Alabama, near the end of the 1st half, it's now Glencoe Yellow Jackets 21, Walter Wellborn Panthers 14, and Blake. Really a lot from the 1st quarter has to do with where we're at now.
Yeah, you talk about those 2 turnovers from Wellborn. They'd be in a much different position if they didn't turn the ball over inside the 10 as they were driving down, and if they didn't have that pick 6, very costly on their 2nd drive. They might be leading by 7 instead of trailing by 7, and that's a huge drive from the Glencoe offense. As you mentioned, they go up by 7, and they're going to get to return the 2nd half kickoff to start the 3rd quarter. 29 seconds here. Let's see if Wellborn can make a little bit of a play.
Lang pooches it up. That may go out of bounds. Well, Montgomery fields it. I think that may have been a mistake, but he's going to find a hole up the middle, and he breaks through some tackles past the 40 to the 45-yard line. A good return from Montgomery. I thought at first maybe a bit of an ill-advised decision. Could have let that go out of bounds. Nearly was out of bounds when he caught it, but he makes the most out of it.
Yeah, conventional wisdom says you let that ball go out of bounds, you let the flag come, and you take the ball at the 35, 1st and 10. But a good return there by Montgomery. He's found some holes, even so they haven't kicked to DJ Roden. No worries for Montgomery. He's able to create something out of nothing there, get the ball up to the 45. 22 seconds and 2 timeouts. You've probably got about 3 snaps for Wellborn here to try to get into scoring position.
Shotgun handoff to Roden, and they will have to burn a timeout here if they're going to do it. So Jeff Smith is looking at his play chart, letting the clock run, and I think he's content to let it go. He's already walking towards the locker room, so that's going to do it. They may get one play in here. They're going to just heave it up with McQueen. We'll see how his arm is. He throws it downfield on the run in Montgomery. It slips through his hands, but he wouldn't have gotten away anyway. So that ends the first half with the score. Glencoe 21, the 7th-ranked Walter Wellborn Panthers 14. It's halftime here in Anniston. We'll be back here on the Friday Night Network.
Since 1848, our bank has witnessed inventions that have changed the world. Conveniences such as the refrigerator, the light bulb, and the airplane were all created during the early days of our bank. VHS tapes, DVDs, smartphones, all invented while we were First National Bank of Talladega. Our name may have changed, but we have a rich history. First Bank of Alabama. We're still first, and so are you.
I have no idea who the... Oh, back here in Anniston, Alabama, Walter Wellborn trailing the Glencoe Yellow Jackets 21-14, and Blake, really nobody to blame but themselves. Much like Sachs last week, Wellborn this time shot themselves in the foot early on.
Yeah, 2 turnovers are the big key in this game. Without those 2 turnovers, Wellborn's probably on the board at least one more time, maybe twice. They've driven down the field with the football each time they've had it all the way down. I think they've had 2 drives over 60 yards, and the 3rd drive that they had down the field ended with that fumble inside the red zone. So they've done some good things offensively. Those turnovers loom large. It's the biggest difference. And Glencoe really found their offensive rhythm there in the second quarter, putting up 21 points to take a 7-point advantage into the break.
We'll step aside ourselves just a moment and let you enjoy the Glencoe Marching Band, Band Director Tim Harris. To our left, you could kind of see it in your bottom right corner at the moment. Glencoe is on the field in the end zone. Looks like they're warming up already. We're going to look and see if Wellborn comes back on the field to start warming up. But apparently, it appears that Glencoe feels confident that we're going to get things started here soon. And, you know, we talked with the guys on the high school scoreboard show at Jocks 94.5. And then we went back and listened to after we got off. Joe Hunk said something interesting that I wanted to bring up to you, which was having to get your body restarted for this type of thing after we've been off for over an hour now.
Yeah, we had quite a few momentum swings in the first 2.5 quarters. First to Wellborn, who just drove right down the field. Then Glencoe, who was able to force 2 turnovers, including a pick 6, really got momentum back in their favor. And then Wellborn forcing a turnover from Glencoe on the very first drive of the third quarter, kind of regained momentum, regained their footing in this ball game, were able to drive right down the field and tie it up. it'll be interesting to see what kind of tone, what kind of flavor this game takes on with everyone having to as you said, kind of re-energize, re-loosen up. Basically, it'll be like starting from scratch again as we've had a layoff of over an hour now.
And starting from scratch, when we started the game, it was Wellborn that controlled. Does this favor Wellborn going forward, or do you feel this favors Glencoe, considering they're coming off? First of all, we don't know if the play is going to get spotted where it ended because the lights went out during the play, or if it's going to get respotted and we have to replay the down, which was 2nd and 15.
Right. I think for Glencoe, what you have to do, since it happened in the middle of the play, it should be 2nd and 15 from the Wellborn 40-ish. Should be somewhere in there, which would be kind of a tough spot for Glencoe to inherit. I would say that if there's a team of these two that is has a better, will feel a little bit better after this outage, I think you got to favor Wellborn a little bit. They're at home. They didn't have to travel today.
Yeah.
So you got the Glencoe guys who already had to travel over here. This isn't their home place. They had to go chill in a visitor's locker room, and now they're trying to get loose out here and try to kind of get themselves re-energized in case we end up playing here in the next 15, 20 minutes.
And if the students and bands are any indication, Wellborn has more stamina apparently than Glencoe, because Glencoe gave up about 15, 30 minutes ago on the going back and forth playing. Wellborn has not stopped. We keep hearing them off in the distance here and there. They've kind of quieted down a little bit, I think, because they've heard about the possibility of coming back to the game and maybe wanted to save up the energy, get ready to go. But we see more flickering of the lights. We're getting there. We're going to get this game going, folks. We know we are. They're still working on it at the moment. We're hoping you see a shot out. I'm not sure if that's I'm not sure exactly. Well, I guess that's the concession area. That is over to our northeast of where we're sitting. And we had a shot earlier of the ticket entrance for the visitors. And one thing I noticed, if you've never noticed about it, there's a little area that's lit in that ticket office out in the behind the visitors bleachers. That's where the visiting coaches sit. So you got the people going through the turnstile, the same place that coaches are having to call a ball game.
Yeah,
I've never noticed that. And I saw that coaches were during the game sitting on the ledge of it with their legs hanging out while calling a ball game.
Yeah,
only at Wellborn.
Only at Wellborn do you see a site like that. It's an interesting stadium to begin with. You call it the Hill. It's up here, kind of situated on a hill, kind of a rarity for a high school football stadium in the state of Alabama. The visiting coaches, as you mentioned, kind of have a weird spot to kind of try and watch this football game. And to tack on to the weirdness of the night, of course, we're in a power outage delay that is now pushing an hour and 20 minutes.
And still no sign of the Panthers of Wellborn, while Glencoe continues to get stretched out on the far side to our left. They are continuing to get themselves ready to go, and maybe this favors Glencoe that they came out and are getting ready. Now, then again, if we find out that the lights are going to keep going out, and all of a sudden they burnt themselves out here trying to stretch it out and everything, and they've kind of given themselves false hope, so they got to be a little careful there.
Score update back from Birmingham. Hoover closes out the win over Mount Vernon, 21-14. As Hoover Bucks Twitter says, "We live to fight another day."
Well, please, just one loss is not going to kill that team's season. Now, I'll say this: congratulations to Hoover. But you like to see the upset every now and then, and Hoover hasn't had one of those in quite a while.
Hoover has not. It is now 41 in a row for the Hoover Buccaneers. So some fun action back in 4A, though. Remember I said Leeds was putting it on Munford 42-28.
Oh, don't tell me those Tigers, those pesky Tigers.
Game with less than a minute left. It's now Munford 42, Leeds 42.
Are you kidding me? Jim Jacobs, if you're listening right now.
42 all.
Are you kidding me? Munford has tied that thing up.
Unbelievable.
Holy crap. Hey, we're getting a great game here. Let me tell you, I hope this thing goes to 42 apiece, but dadgummit, man. Munford gave us a ball game that we weren't expecting.
And speaking of good ball games, Clay Chalkville and Hillcrest.
Oh, no.
That game has gone final. Clay Chalkville 41, Hillcrest 40.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I don't care. I'm biased in that situation. I don't care. By the way, I did want to ask you about this because it's our first broadcast together and we're in a delay and we got time. What happened to Shoals Christian as it comes to football, your alma mater out of 1A?
Yeah, so we're talking about Shades Mountain Christian.
Shades Mountain Christian. Sorry, I know there's a Shoals Christian out there in this state.
There is a Shoals Christian up in Florence, Alabama.
Yeah, I'm way off.
Still playing some 1A football.
Shades, you played basketball and baseball at Shades Mountain Christian. You didn't play football because of health issues, health concerns. But they aren't able to play football this season.
They're not. Yeah, they actually they have discontinued the football program as of
That's a shame.
May, this past May.
Was it numbers?
It was numbers.
Okay.
It came down to numbers. When you're talking about a 1A high school, usually that's the biggest thing is numbers. And when you're talking
you pretty much have to have the whole male student body being on the
exactly,
team.
yeah. Basically, your entire male population from 9th grade to 12th grade more or less makes up the varsity team. I mean, you've got guys like we've seen out here tonight. Guys are playing both ways. But in 1A, like in 3A, you've got guys that are playing both ways. Like those are your studs.
Yeah.
Those are your guys that you lean on. In 1A, you're playing a lot of guys both ways. And it just turned out that it was one of those things that was a great idea at the time when Shades Mountain brought a football program on about 7 or 8 years ago. But after 7 or 8 years and not having a season higher than 4 and 6, I believe is the high season, it just wasn't a feasible program when you've got a basketball program who's been in the state playoffs 5 of the last 6 years, and a baseball program that's been in the state playoffs 6 of the last 7 years.
Not to brag.
Not to brag.
I can brag about my football program too if you'd like.
Not to brag, but when you're a 1A school, you don't see many 1A schools that have an excellent football program and a basketball program and a baseball program.
Oh no.
Usually you're picking your spots in 1A. If you have a really good football program, chances are your basketball program's not as good, or your baseball program suffers.
Yeah,
it's hard to maintain an all-around sports program the smaller the schools get.
You see it. I'm not getting into a discussion about the type of athletes you're seeing when I say this, but I'm saying this is a real thing. Typically, we have seen football dominated by suburban schools. You know, your Hoovers, your Vestavias, your Mountain Bush, your Clay Chalfels, what have you. Florence. Inner city, usually we see more domination out of basketball. It's just been a common thing, really. We saw Carver Montgomery just take a 6A state championship this year. They're good in football. That is one of those cases where you got a good football and a good basketball program, especially when they had Jeremy Johnson at quarterback.
Yeah.
As we see some lights are starting to come back on, thankfully, on this side at least. We're waiting on the other side at the moment, but you kind of see that. I mean, there is some real there's some real disconnect between that, especially, and baseball is especially a case of that. I've seen teams like Carver Birmingham. I saw them go to play Gardendale. They got absolutely stomped in baseball.
Right.
It's just something you see, but you do see a disconnect between the sports sometimes because of the types of athletes that you get. Things can be different times.
Yeah, it's really hard as a high school program, regardless of size, to have a program that is really well represented in all seasons. I mean, it's hard to have a really good football program, really good basketball program, really good baseball/softball program.
Yep.
Sometimes it ends up that you pick your spots, and for a lot of schools in the state, I think you can kind of look down. You can kind of look down the list, like you look at Clay Chalkville. Everybody knows them for their football program.
Yes,
if you look at Mountain Brook, they play competitive football, but you know them for their basketball.
You knew Clay at one time also for its baseball. It's tapered off ever since Jeff Malden left the program and went to Pelham, then went to Hewitt, and now he's got Hewitt rocking.
Right.
As you can see, we've got lights. Let there be light, ladies and gentlemen. We got light back on. Now, of course, we cannot start the game until the other set of lights on the other side of the field have gotten back on. The lights on our side are working just fine. And we're very happy to see that. As you can see again, you see clear now. Glencoe no longer bathed in red light from the scoreboard, getting themselves ready. When we resume, we really don't know where they have the yards marker in the middle of the field, and they have the first down marker at the 25. We don't know where the downs marker is, though, currently. So we have no idea where this is going to begin as Wellborn makes their way onto the field to start stretching out. We are as confused as anybody in terms of where we're going to resume when this gets going, but we're glad we have some power restored. So we'll take a timeout. We'll take about a 2 or 3 minute break. We'll step aside. We'll let these teams stretch out, and then hopefully sometime soon after we come back, we'll get this thing kicked off. Hopefully lights on the other side of the stadium will be lit back up. It's 21 apiece between Glencoe and Wellborn here on FNN2.
Oops, had a fender bender? Have them tow it or take it yourself to Wesley's Paint and Body. Baker Reynolds and his guys have been this area's go-to team for quality automotive body repair and paint work for years. All makes and models, foreign or domestic. They take them crashed and make them look like new. And with Wesley's larger new facility, including 2 full-size paint booths, they can get you fixed up fast. Always free estimates, best price on repair work, insurance claims welcomed, and service with a smile. That's Wesley's Paint and Body, Highway 78 East in Anniston.
In this moment, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes or if your neighbor has the same insurance that you do. What matters right now is the quality of your independent insurance agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance.
Parnell Insurance in Oxford is your local independent auto owners insurance agency.
At Food Outlet, our lineup starts with the freshest produce in town.
When you shop with us, you score every day with the freshest meat and the best selection.
Pre-game, halftime, even after the game, we have all the snacks and soft drinks that you need.
We're your hometown team. And you'll always score a touchdown at Food Outlet, where great service at low prices is how we do business.
Food Outlet with locations in Alexandria, Anniston, Bynum, and Pell City. Go to shopfoodoutlet.com for weekly specials. And remember to like us on Facebook.
Welcome back. If Walter Wellborn happens to go on and win this football game, they will forever remember it as the blackout. Hopefully it won't start a new tradition of shutting out the lights in the middle of the third quarter, though. We see a truck. If our cameraman can point over, there's a pole behind the 30-yard line on the right side of the field. There's a truck back there working on the power pole out behind the bleachers to the right side, behind the visiting bleachers to the right. And there it is coming into view right there. There you see it. Alabama Power, thank you, folks, for what you do for us, and they're getting us back. They've gotten one set of lights on that side working. The other set of lights, once they get back on, we'll be soon to get underway here, Blake, and we're getting there. We're tied at 21. We're about a good game, about as good as we could have asked for, except for the long delay. But you had an update, and once again, Jim, I'm going to ask you to listen to this real quick. Have they gone to extra ball?
Extra ball, and Munford and Leeds. That game is now headed to overtime as we head past the top of the hour. Munford and Leeds are headed to overtime. Another update back in the Birmingham area with 16 seconds left. A Spain Park 39-yard field goal is good. They beat Thompson 15-14.
Good grief.
We already mentioned Demopolis and Calera. Mortimer Jordan 43, Anniston 19. Pell City hangs on to beat Chilton County by a final score of 21-19. Nice. We mentioned Clay Chalkville and Hillcrest. Gunnersville over Madison County 49-39, and Blunt over Daphne tonight 56-21.
That's a bit of an upset right there. Blunt. I know Blunt's, I don't think Blunt's really had historically a great team. They've had a, halfway, decent team, average team. But to beat Daphne's having struggles early on here. They lost to Saraland last week by 7, I believe. And so,
by the way,
Daphne's off to a bad start right now.
If you want some details on the end of that Munford-Leeds game, so Munford gave up a big Leeds return back into Munford territory. No. Leeds drove it down and had about a 31 or 32-yard field goal with time expiring to win it. It was blocked.
Oh, blocked field goal from Munford. Are you kidding me?
So that game is currently in overtime.
Let this be a lesson to everybody out there. Never trust a game on paper. Even if the combined score last year was 91-7.
How about Munford?
Are you kidding me?
How about Munford? By the way, Smith Station over Lee tonight by a final score of 34-14. That game just coming across the wire as well.
So repeat that one more time.
Smith Station over Lee, 34-14.
Well, Lee.
Yeah.
I believe. I was thinking of a different team. You said Lee, and I think of Lafayette. I was thinking of Lafayette, and Lehigh for a second. The longest running college football rivalry in the history of the game. So we are in warm-ups. We see Lang and one of the other kickers, actually, that's number 29, Caitlin Smith out there, out to the left. Lang and Smith warming up on field goals for Glencoe as Wellborn continues to stretch out, and with Coach Smith monitoring that. We see everybody we're back to pregame again, basically.
Yeah, this is exactly the site that we saw about, 5 hours ago, I guess, at this point. Almost 5 hours ago. You got position groups breaking up. You got kickers taking kicks. You got running backs working on their handoffs, receivers working on their hands. A little bit behind them down here is Walter Wellborn. They're still going through their team stretching stuff, and hopefully as soon as we figure out this last light pole over across the far
Which
side.
the truck, by the way, has double backed and turned itself around to come back to. I don't know if I hope they haven't stopped working on it. It's not done yet, fellas.
Yeah, we got a dark side of the field here across the way on the.
Thank you, Pink Floyd.
Yeah, dark side of the field here, Glencoe, around Glencoe's sideline, around the 25-yard line. But hopefully, once we get that light section up, we can get this game back underway with still about 17 minutes to play.
I didn't show my age with that reference. I showed my musical taste. There's a difference.
There you go. There you go.
You mentioned Pell City, tight win. Verbena, 60. This wasn't tight. 61-26, Verbena over Ottaville. McAdory smacks around Northridge as you would expect they would. Final 35-10. American Christian, 60-6 over Lamar County. You mentioned Spain Park earlier, 16-14, big win for the Jaguars, and they bit of a step back for Thompson, who's getting adjusted to Mark Freeman. They had 2 good wins to start out the season, and again, step back here in 7A, and we expect them to probably take a few steps back. The talent level not quite as big in that part of Birmingham, down there in Alabaster, as it is in others. But Mark Freeman, give him time. You saw what he did with Spanish Fort, 2 state titles in a row. The man can work some miracles, and I would think that Thompson is a team to be reckoned with in a couple of years.
No doubt, no doubt. A quick update from the college ranks, Washington. Chris Peterson taking on his old squad in Boise, Idaho on the blue turf. That's Boise State, and right now it is all Boise State Broncos. We talked earlier about establishing the run game. Already Boise State over 100 yards on the ground. They lead 13-0 with 10 minutes to go till halftime in Boise. So 13-0 Broncos over the Washington Huskies.
My buddy Michael, shout out to my buddy Michael Katz from a graduate of USC, and he now covers the Broncos for one of the newspapers up there in Idaho. So good for him, getting to enjoy a good game on the turf. Chris Peterson not getting a good homecoming.
No, he
back
is
to.
not.
They've been having some problems in Washington with their quarterback situation. They've been struggling a little bit. Speaking of Huskies, by the way, Helena dominates Wilcox Central 55-0. Talk about a school that came on the scene last year and did something special. Helena made the playoffs in, I think, every major sport that there was to offer. In some way, shape, or fashion, they made the playoffs in every major sport offered, including soccer, by the way.
Oh, yeah. That says a lot. That says a lot about that area of Birmingham, really. I mean, you talk about Pelham and Helena, the amount of talent over in that part of the area has just been extraordinary. Helena they made deep runs in baseball, and they made a relatively unexpected run in football. It was really extraordinary what they were able to do in really their first year as a competitive school.
We want to thank our producer and director, Jake, by the way, giving us some great shots. We saw just a second ago the cherry picker out there. They're getting everything fixed up on that light pole, trying to get the lights back on and get us going because, as you mentioned, one corner of the field's dark, and if one quarter's dark, you can't play the football game because, you don't want to give a team a disadvantage having to go that direction. Right now, it's Wellborn. I don't think Wellborn would appreciate the disadvantage going in. Now, granted, for the fourth quarter, they'd be going into the lights. So. Right. It'd be Glencoe that'd be having more of a disadvantage. So.
Right now.
There's the cherry picker, by the way.
Yep, we've got coaches all over the field talking to the referees. Looks like the referees.
Not the only one's talking, by the way.
Yeah, everyone's trying to figure this out. The referees talking to the coaches right now, trying to figure out as soon as this light situation gets underway, we'd like to get this game going.
We've got police talking to power officials down below, trying to get this thing fixed. This has been the strangest delay we've ever seen. I mean, 2 weeks in a row. There were games across this state that got stopped by weather. Not us. Everywhere we went, Gadsden, here last week, perfect weather. Tonight, perfect weather. But we had to find a way to delay this game somehow. It had to end up with us somehow. But we'll keep you abreast. And the good thing of us being delayed is we're able to keep you abreast of the Leeds-Munford game because it went to overtime. So we're at least able to tell you about what's going on over there. Also, I saw Guntersville, had to mention them. They beat Madison County in the top 10 matchup, 49-39.
Wow.
Guntersville coming off a big year last year. They went unbeaten going into the playoffs. So they're a team to look out for going forward in 5A. So, I believe 5A, if I remember correctly.
Right,
I think with Madison County. And I think Guntersville's well on their way to another region title at the moment. And so we'll have to keep an eye out on them as they move forward towards the playoffs. We're keeping an eye on everything. It's been a crazy, crazy night, my friend. We've had tight games in top 10 matchups across this state. We've had some upsets. We've had some close games that didn't quite end in an upset, and you got an update. I see it. I see it in your eyes.
So Mumford got the ball first in overtime. They drive right down the field and score.
Now remember,
extra point is good. It's 49-42.
Let's remind people, when you say drive down overtime rules, you start on the 10-yard line.
Yeah, you start on the 10.
You get a series.
So you get a series. So not really a drive, but you score. Leeds gets the ball back, and they score. And they line up, and they go for 2.
Oh, no.
As they line up and go for 2, Leeds has called timeout.
So
Leeds
is going for the win. They say, no, we're not going to go any farther here.
Leeds is on the brink of going for 2.
We're done.
49-48 in overtime.
Well, they're on the road. And, I mean, really, this game isn't – I don't think this game's going to dictate Leeds' region season. I think this is going to be one of those that just – they played so well or so tight against Madison Academy. I think they're still going to be fine going forward. They have great players like Trey Nation. And I think that no matter the result of this game, I think Keith Eshridge realizes – we're going to be fine going forward. We're going to still be the team that we want to be for the most part as we move on. Let's just go ahead and try to call it a night and get the heck out of here.
Yeah.
It's already 10-16.
So Leeds goes for 2.
Uh-oh. What's the result?
They do not get it.
No, Munford with the upset.
The Munford Lions 49.
Wow.
Leeds 48. That game is final. What an upset for Munford.
All right. I want Jim to know I'm going to be texting him this weekend. I'm having fun. It's all good fun. We're a good family here on the FNN on the Friday Night Network, and we all had good fun. I just remember, Jim and I talked about this coming into this week. I said, okay, Randolph County Ramburn, Leeds Munford was next, and he said his reasoning was Leeds is going to kill Munford, and he based that off last year, which is okay. I understand that 91-7 is a heck of a combined score, and that certainly would give anybody a reason to say this is not going to go well. Wow. Congratulations to the Munford Lions. All that aside, congratulations to Munford. They earned a hard fight because they came back from 13 down.
Yeah, they were down 42. They were down 42-28 with 5 minutes left.
14 down. There you go.
So that's a heck of a comeback.
So that is a big win for Munford going forward. That game right there may be the difference between home field and going on the road in the first round. I don't think it'll win them a region title unless if they go undefeated the rest of the season, they obviously do. But you still got to deal with Dadeville, Childersburg. It's no easy pickings.
Yeah, it's a tough region there in 4A.
Yeah, Glencoe's heading to the sideline, but again the lights are still off on the far side to the right, so there's no guarantee here as to when we're getting back to play. They're still trying to fix that. I really believe that was the light that caused this thing. That's what it looked like. I heard a part of the video crew for Wellborn he thought it was the light to our right, to our immediate right on our side of the field. But when I was looking at it, I kind of saw at the corner of my eye, it looked like a light that came from that particular pole. And now all of a sudden I feel strongly about that at this point. Because I pointed to you and said, look at that one particular light. It's got white. You can see there's white visible in there that I don't know if you can't see in any of the other lights. I didn't know if that meant something. I didn't know if it clearly meant a light had broken, it busted and then caused power outage to the rest of the lights.
Now, one thing we could be talking about here, referees and coaches are still at center field. If we really want to get this game going, what we could end up doing is playing on one side of the field.
That is a possibility, actually. I had forgotten about that. That is certainly a possibility. And I'm sure Glenco would like that right now.
They would,
because they got started so early.
Right. So we could be playing, and in fact, the referees are actually going to walk over to each sideline.
Well, this drive really, this drive you can really go ahead and play anyway because it's already on this side, on that side of the field on the left.
Right, you're already inside the 40 on the lit side of the field. Glencoe is, so they go this way. Let's say they score. I think you have to flip the field, so you have Glencoe kicking from our right to left. No, you'd have them kicking the other way. You'd have them going left to right.
Yeah.
And you'd have to have Wellborn going
this
back.
This is so strange, people. I got to tell you, if they do that.
But here's the deal. If you flip the field, though, that means that Glencoe would be kicking back into the dark. So Wellborn would have to field a kick in the dark, and they would have to slowly work their way from the dark side of the field to the light side of the field.
Would they? Well, if you say they cut the field in half, well, I'm confused now as all get out, to be honest, about how they're going to handle this.
Yeah, so.
Really? I would think they would kick off from the dark side or the light side, and if he gets past the 50, then you just move the ball back across.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Okay.
That's my guess. I mean, I'm just shooting ideas out here. I don't know. I've never been a part of this.
But what if Glencoe onside kicks on the dark side of the field?
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
See, you've got all sorts of problems.
This is incredible. This is insane. the fact that we're even talking about these scenarios is absolutely ridiculous.
As we close in on an hour and 36 minutes now.
So we've gone over the 90-minute mark.
And it looks like...
I wonder if they're going to allow this to play the full field. I wonder, only because it's a corner of the field. Do they feel confident, and are the coaches going to agree that, you know what, let's just play ball and see what happens?
Well, one thing to consider is it's not like these two teams are really an all-out aerial assault.
No, they're not.
Either side. I mean, it's a lot of running the football.
No. They would have loved the fog bowl. They would have. They would have loved the fog bowl because they don't air it out.
The ball would have been on the ground anyway.
Oh gosh, I remember it was. I think it was Mike Singletary talked about how they would be in that game and and it was like literally there was like just a wall of fog.
Yeah.
And you'd walk through, and then you wouldn't see anything until you walk through, and then all of a sudden you're seeing the sidelines, and the coach would have to ask you what's going on. You just lie to him and tell, "We're doing all right, coach.
Yeah, we're good.
We're doing fine."
All right, so here's the deal. It looks so when the last play before we had this power outage, it was 2nd down and 15 for Glencoe. It was a quarterback read, keeper by Wilson, who bowled his way across the 30, just inside the 30 to the 29. The referee spotted that ball apparently before the lights went out. Now it's 3rd down and 5 for Glencoe.
All right, so they are going to give them the play. We resume play under 3/4 lights of this one. Holy cow. Shotgun for Wilson. Handoff stuffed. And that's a big stop by Jake Thrasher, number 14, just shot through the gap and took down, I believe it was Austin Bush. Nothing doing, and they're going to go for it.
Absolutely, you go for it. Unless you've got a kicker with a leg, you can hit from about 45 or 46.
I thought Lang had a decent leg. I don't know if it's good enough for 47, but I thought he had a decent leg out there. And by the way, talk about wide goalposts. As we go shotgun, they'll throw. It is caught
at the sticks,
and it's going to be a 1st down.
That's a great route there by the coach's son. When we talk about Pace Osmond, I believe that's actually his first catch of the night. A good route, a stick route right to the sticks. He catches it.
All he needed was a power outage.
Yeah, right at the 1st down marker. That's a big pickup for Glencoe here as we go 4:45 and counting midway through the 3rd.
So lights back on, and I mean most of the stadium stuck around. Credit to these fans out here. Most of the fans still here as handoff is given, and a nice job fighting up there for yardage. And it looks like about a 7-yard gain, and I want to say offhand it was Allred, but actually that was Bush running the football strong. Austin Bush.
Nice carry by Bush. Once again, we talked about back when we were playing football about an hour and a half ago.
Oh my gosh, it seems like forever, doesn't it?
It seems like forever ago, but these Glencoe backs have really done a great job getting through arm tackles and finding space and falling forward, picking up good yardage in the middle of the field.
And as the run commences here, it looks like this time it is Allred, I believe. He'll get a 1st down. No, it is Austin Bush again. Again, some of these, it's going to be even tougher to read some of these numbers once they get into the dark spots of this field. And Alabama Power Truck has driven off down towards the bottom of the gate, by the way, so we have no idea if they're ever going to get that fixed. I don't know if that may be done for the night. So maybe half the field is right. Who knows?
Okay.
So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 11. Glencoe trying to take the lead here in what has been one of the craziest nights you will ever see in high school football. Handoff is to Bush. He'll get tripped up, though, at the last scrimmage. Give Elston credit for the tackle as he got the shoestring.
Great job by Jamisio Elston. The last couple plays, he's really done a good job trying to get up the field, get past his initial blocker, and try to get into the backfield and make a play. The first time he tried to get Bush was on that last 1st down play. He just missed him. This time, he's able to get just enough of his ankle to bring him down for either a minimal loss or back to the line of scrimmage to set up 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10, 3:12 to go. And if you're still with us on this thing, God bless you, by the way. Let me just go ahead and say it. We appreciate you sticking around. You are true troopers. And it looks like Wellborn's looking to stop the run, and they hand it off. Well, they keep it with Wilson. He'll get stuffed for maybe a yard or 2, and they drive him back. You know, Wellborn packed the defense in. There was a safety covering the slot man. They were clearly looking to run on that play.
Good job by Wellborn stacking the box, getting initial penetration out front to get into the backfield and stop Wilson for no gain, very minimal gain. So now it's 3rd down and long here for Glencoe inside the 10.
3rd and 7, and your 1st down marker's at the 1, so you're really looking almost touchdown or bust in a way.
Watch for Pace Osmond here in the slot near side.
Yep. Wilson's looking. He's going to try to take off, but he's getting nowhere. Great job by the defense to bear down on Wilson as he tried to take off, and they were not going to allow that, and they're going to force a field goal. They're going to force an Andrew Lang field goal, I imagine, unless Glencoe's just going to say to heck with it, which it looks like.
Looks like Glenco will be going for it.
We've been delayed for an hour and a half. Boys, let's roll the dice.
Why not?
So 4th and 5 from the 6 is what we got here. Under 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Yeah, we still got a full quarter of football left. Wilson goes, throws. It is incomplete, and Wellborn will get a turnover on downs. Tried to go low and couldn't hang on to it.
That same stick route Wilson tried to go to on the far side of the field. The throw was low. Osmond tried to get his hands underneath it. It appeared that he might have had a shot at it, but according to that referee who was closest to the play, he did not. A big-time stand for the Wellborn defense to hold Glencoe, and now Wellborn takes over inside their own 10.
That may be the loudest I've heard this crowd all night. And they partied a lot during that break, but that may be the last I've heard them the entire night with that stand. That's a huge defensive stop for Wellborn, but now you're looking at a 94-yard drive. They'll go under center, and talk about 94 yards. They could eat up a lot of clock here.
Yes, they could. Minute 46 and counting here in the 3rd.
The handoff. They find a hole, but it won't go very far. Maybe give them about 3 yards on the play. I believe that was Harris. It was. He'll get 3. It'll be they'll give him 4. It's 2nd and 6 at about the 10-yard line.
Good job once again by Osmond coming out of his safety slot to come in and supply another hit. Also in on the play, it looked like Trevor Owens may have gotten a paw in there as well.
2nd and 6, a minute 15 to go in the score. I mean, we're about to end the quarter here, for goodness sakes. Finally, after an hour and 45 minutes, we're finally going to end the 3rd quarter.
This might be one of the longest quarters in Alabama State football history.
I would say so. Although last week would say otherwise. McQueen is taken down the backfield. That was ill-advised, and they lose a yard or 2 to make it 3rd and 7, maybe 7.5, maybe even 8, as we'll get one more play out of this quarter. And yeah, last week we had like 2.5-hour delays with Thompson and Pelham and some other schools. I know 2 weeks ago there were long delays. This would certainly qualify as probably the longest power delay we've ever seen in Alabama high school football. So we'll get one more play out of this. A 10-second difference between game and play clock, and now the referees are stopping the clock.
Reset. They're going to reset the play clock. It looks like the play clock never actually started on the referee.
Okay, they are going to reset the play clock. So now it's going to be a 7-second difference, I think, or they actually stopped the game clock this time. So the game clock's not running. They'll hand off to Roden, who's got the outside. Can he make the first down? He's close. And they will give him the 15.5. I think he's half a yard short.
I think he is short. That's a heck of a hit from Osmond. Covering ground, he probably ran about 30 yards from the middle of the field to put a hit on Roden and knock him out of bounds. And they're going to have a measurement here, but I think you're right. Based on where that spot is, he might be maybe the length of a football short.
They're going to measure this. The nose is not on the 16. I think the original line was about the 6-yard line. I think this is going to be just a little short, and if that's the case, we'll get to see the Wellborn punt team out here for one of the few times we have tonight. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure we have seen the Wellborn punt team tonight.
I don't think so.
They'll measure, and it will be.
Yep, he's short.
Yeah, it is short, and it's not exactly too short enough to even. Not that you would even think about this at this point.
As well as Wellborn has been running the football.
Well, I don't know, though. 16-yard line, it seems a little risky. Though.
That is very risky.
A lot risky. What are we, Bill Belichick here? Talk about the call of all calls. When we talk about boneheaded, that would be it. But so I think we're likely to, I think it's 99.9% sure we're going to see the punt team out here, and Pace Osmond's going to get a shot at a return, which, oh boy.
Oh boy,
what he can do.
Oh boy is right. We were watching the tape from Glencoe and Gordo, and he took one back to the house a couple weeks ago.
He's not the fastest guy you'll see. But he's lanky, he's athletic, and I don't believe it. Are they actually going to do this? They believe in their run game so strongly, and to be fair, Glencoe has not been successful stopping the middle ground game. But this would be This is the biggest gamble we've seen all season so far, even bigger than 2 onside kicks in a row.
Which we saw a couple weeks ago in Auburn and Gadsden City.
And it looks like they're still working on that power pole, by the way. They've got another truck. Well, I don't know if it's going to pass or if it's going to stay there and work on it. It looks like they might be continuing to work on that pole as a play has stopped and Osment's on the field. That'd be Lee Osment, not Pace is on the field, obviously, at the free safety position. Lee has come on the field, though, and he is arguing something. Not sure if he's arguing the spot of the ball or not much really to argue about that.
Well, I know one point of contention, we talked about it before the play started, was that the game clock had not actually run. This third quarter should probably be up.
That one I can agree with there.
And he probably if he's smart, he probably wants this 4th down conversion to take place on the dark side of the field, not the light side of the field.
Yeah, although to counter that, though, all of a sudden the misdirection in Wellborn's offense may play a factor.
Right.
I don't know if you want that on the dark side of the field. Which I'm assuming they're going to play on that side of the field once we have the opportunity to see if that's the case. We're going to find that out real quick.
We'll
unless Wellborn breaks one deep in for a touchdown, it may be. I don't know. So there's still a conversation with Jeff Smith now on the Wellborn sideline.
Only fitting that a game with such a long delay would have another delay here.
Talk about restlessness from the crowd. I mean, my goodness. I mean, look, half the Glencoe band's laying down on the concrete bleachers. Looking out here to the left over at Wellborn, they're kind of subdued at this point. A lot of fans along the gate here, they want to be able to get a close look at this. And you see Lee Osment now just wondering what they're going to do here. He has a point. When we got the referee's timeout earlier to reset the play clock, they stopped the game clock and never started it back.
Right.
And it wasn't a situation where that was absolutely necessary. That clock should have kept running. And as Lee Osment has pointed out, this quarter should be over by all stretch of the imagination. For all intents and purposes.
For all intents and purposes.
That's the phrase I was looking for. There you go.
But here we go.
Well, they're going to run the clock, and I don't know what Wellborn's going to decide. They're going to run a play, or they're going to say, hey, let's just go to the other side of the field. Let's do that. They're going to come up with about 5 seconds left, and I think they're going to say, no, we'll hold off. So we are 3 quarters down, folks, finally. It is, at the moment, 10:33 p.m. Central Time, and we are now entering the 4th quarter. It's 21 apiece on the Friday Night Network. We'll be back.
Every day is a great day to stop in a Samco Express Mart. You'll find plenty of snacks to choose from, and Samco has all your favorite drink brands, all nice and cold. You'll find those last-minute light grocery items you need, and a great variety of grab-and-go brands that's sure to cure any case of the munchies. There's lots of candy, mints, and gum, too. Make sure you fuel up before or after the game. With over 30 locations in the area, there's always one close by. Samco Express Mart.
People come from everywhere to get their deal from Bill Stanford. They come from Ashland, Brompton, Lineville. They come from Moody, Munford, Coldwater, Birmingham, Talladega, Lincoln, Riverside, Heflin. There's no better deal than a Talladega Bill deal.
Right now, all Ram trucks are at or below supplier price. Save over $2,700 on this 2015 Ram 1500 at Bill Stanford.
Come on out to Bill Stanford in Talladega.
All right, 4th quarter, folks. Finally saying it. My gosh, we're in the 4th quarter. Oh, my Lord. We've had a heck of a night, haven't we, Blake?
It's been a long one. We kicked off right at 7:02 Central Time. It is now 10:34 Central Time. We're getting underway in the 4th quarter. And, of course, a crazy game needs a crazy call. It's 4th down and 1.
On the 15-yard line, they're going to go for on 4th and 1. They really trust their running attack. Remember, last time they did a quick count. Oh, and they drew him offside. Oh, that is unbelievable. Glencoe cannot believe it. They shifted, and Glencoe jumped. What was that about? What was that I said about bonehead calls? I take it back. That may be one of the smartest calls I've ever seen.
Oh, my goodness.
Are you kidding me? They shifted on the line, and it drew one of the linemen for Glencoe off. I don't know how that happened. I think they got jumpy because the last time the quick count and the quarterback sneak that got 4 yards. So it's 1st and 10 now. McQueen hands it off to Roden, who will get nowhere. And Glencoe, a little steamed after that one, I think took it out on DJ Roden on that play.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. Great job on the front line there by Coleman Morris, the senior defensive end in this 3-3-5. Got immediate pressure into the backfield. He beat his man and was able to stick the running back in the backfield for a loss of 1.
So it'll be 2nd and 11 in one of the craziest games you will ever see. I don't care where you ever go at this point. Good night. Toss play is to Montgomery. He'll get about a good 8-yard gain to make up for the loss, and there's a flag now down. That could be brought back. We'll see what the call is, though. Holy cow, are you kidding me? I mean, I can't help myself. This is insane. And they're going to call a face mask against the defense, and that is going to move Wellborn into 1st down at the 32-yard line.
So another Glencoe penalty moves the chains for Munford. It's a 5-yard face mask rather than a 15. But all of a sudden, Munford, this drive started on their own 6. They're all the way past the 30 now, and the clock continues to run.
So a 1st down off a couple of the strange, well, not a strange play, got a neutral zone infraction and a penalty for Glencoe, and Harris will take it on a toss. He'll get to the 37. That's a 5-yard gain. And once again, Wellborn just goes back to work on the ground.
Yeah, Wellborn doing a great job of really stretching the field. Now they've gone to the outside 3 or 4 times already on this drive, and they've really made the Glencoe defense pursue the ball side to side.
Just to point something out real quick, we were talking about Washington and Boise State earlier. So far, the Broncos have held Washington to 58 total yards, by the way, in the game. So heck of a job of the Bronco defense. Meanwhile, it's 2nd down and 5. They'll fake the handoff to Warren, give it to Roden, and he'll get he fights his way ahead, and I think the ball, no, he's still on his feet. He's still going. DJ Roden is still going on his feet, and he's down. Is he still on his feet? He's up inside the 40-yard line. DJ Roden, man, child. I've never seen that in high school football. I've never seen. How long did he carry him? 20 yards?
What an unbelievable run from Roden. He was initially hit just across the 35 on this side of the 50, and with some help from his offensive lineman, he stays on his feet.
Oh, they're going to bring it back.
All the way across the 40.
They're going to bring it back.
And we bring it all the way back.
They say, is that a legal shift? I don't know if that was the call or if they were. I was wondering if they were calling that they were illegally pushing him and pulling him, because I saw one Wellborn player actually running backwards with Roden in his hands. So they're going to move it back to just behind the original line of scrimmage. It's going to be 2nd and 11, and negates what is probably the greatest play we have seen all season so far.
It's an illegal shift that goes against Milburn.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my. Instead of 1st down inside the Glencoe 40, it's now 2nd down and long back at the 31.
You know, we saw George Teague's play nullified by an offside penalty against Miami once. This is a bit different situation. That may be one of the greatest plays I've ever seen, one of the greatest efforts I've seen by a running back. They're going to give it right back to Roden, and why not? He's going to cut back inside and get to about the 35-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 8, and all of a sudden it looks bad for Wellborn. What should be a 1st down inside the opposing 40 is now 3rd and 8 at their own 35, and holy cow, DJ Roden's effort goes for naught because of a penalty, and got to feel bad for the kid. That is one of the most amazing things you will ever see.
What a turn of events. Great job there by Osmond to force that play back inside and allow Cowley to make the tackle. Man,
you know, it reminded me of Tommy Frazier, Nebraska, Florida game, 95, the national championship, as they gave it up the middle. I couldn't even see where the play was going to be, and that's Montgomery, and he'll be stopped quickly for only a yard. It'll be 4th and 7, and clearly Wellborn's going to punt. They bring on the unit now. And that's got to hurt for Walter Wellborn. What should be a drive still going in Glencoe territory, and probably still be going in maybe even in the red zone by now is reduced to a punt. after what was a great call on their own 15-yard line on 4th and 1.
Yeah, a drive that had so much promise, ruined once again by a big penalty. We've seen it a little bit over tonight. Some big penalties have played a big part in this game.
First time we're going to see Chandler Cup on the field tonight, at least at the punter spot. He's also on both the lines, both sides of the ball. Also means we see Pace Osmond returning, and he almost muffed it, and he gets taken down immediately by Jordan Montgomery at the 35-yard line. And Osmond got to be careful there. And Jordan Montgomery flying in and getting a hold of Mr. Osmond says, no, sir. We'll make you start a little farther back.
And ironically enough, this is probably some of the worst field position that Glencoe's had to start a drive since about the first quarter. And really, it's not even that bad. It's just across their own 35.
Yeah, they've usually had about the 40, 45-yard line. And as you mentioned, the worst field position they've had since they were backed up inside their own 10-yard line earlier off a turnover. So Wilson will hand it off to Bush, and actually that's actually Allred. Some of those numbers, I swear, they're a little tough. And he gets about 5.5, 6 yards. I think it's going to be second and, they'll say 5 on the scoreboard. I think it's 2nd and 4.
I think you're right.
By
it's
the
close
marker.
To 2nd and 4. Tough run there by Allred, right between the guards. Nice hole. Nice job by the offensive line, led by the center, Bailey Britt, getting to the second level.
By the scoreboard's admission, it's 2nd and 5. We'll call it a 2nd and long 4. And they'll hand it off again, and it's Allred, and nothing doing this time. He gets a yard and a half. And is immediately taken down. I think it was Jake Thrasher.
It was Jake Thrasher. Good job. He read the play. He read it to the outside, made a good move to his left, and was able to wrap up and make the tackle. Big third down yet again here with 7:45 and counting. You got Pace Osmond in the slot, top side. 4 wide receivers here for Glencoe as Bush motions from the left of Wilson to the right.
Wilson's going to throw a swing pass. He's got a man, and it's going to get a first down, and it's Austin Bush. Great job fighting his way through tacklers, and arm tackle after arm tackle. That's not going to bring a guy like Austin Bush down.
Yeah, what a great call there by Coach Osmond over on the Glencoe sideline. First time we've seen anything resembling a screen or a bubble pass. He breaks out the swing pass to Bush. Good blocking on the near side allows him to get up the field and pick up a first down near midfield.
By the way, going back to that Roden play, because I have to ask, how many guys did he carry in that play? Was that about 10, 11?
10, 11 guys. It was probably one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
And he was still on his feet. We all thought he went down. He was still up about 15 yards into the play and then got another 5 out of it. So look at this, Thrasher trying to blitz up the middle, and he gets picked up, but the run goes goes actually about 3 yards, gets a decent gain out of almost nothing. That's Bush again. So it'll be 2nd and 7.
Yeah, good job by sophomore outside linebacker there, Ked Harris, who just grabbed an ankle and hung on, hoping some help would get there.
Yeah, Thrasher's trying to get in there, and a nice job by number 79 for the Glencoe Yellow Jackets. That's Jeff Ford, and he pretty much pasted and pancaked Thrasher to the ground. It opened up what little hole there was for Bush. Otherwise, that would have been in the backfield. Wilson keeps it this time, and he'll have a first down and then some. 40. Gets by 35-30. He will be out at the 25, and that may have been a late hit, but there is no flag coming out. Very lucky on that play. I think that was actually Joseph Harris that got away with that hit on the sideline, number 37.
Yeah, great read there that time by Glencoe. They've done a great job mixing up who they're reading on the defensive line. That time they took advantage of the nose tackle, Jamisio Elston, who came in unblocked as you saw, but it was a great beat by Wilson, who had it in his running back's belly, immediately pulled it away, and was able to pick up a big chunk of yardage.
Yeah, normally in situations like this you read the end, but there are plays where you read the tackle like that, and there's Bush taking a carry, and there are people calling for holding on that play, but they're not going to get it as Bush stretches out for another 3-yard gain. And just, that effort by Bush, turning 1 no-yard gains into something to work with later on.
Yeah, good job by Bush to really turn it up the field and pick up positive yardage. The natives want a holding call. You can kind of hear them there. Good job there by the receivers, in my opinion. They kept their hands inside. You may see some jersey, but if you keep your hands inside, they're not going to call it.
Can you believe this? It feels like we just started the fourth quarter. We're at the midway break. We'll take a timeout with them for the water break. I mean, my goodness, have we not had enough time for water break? 21-21, back with more here on FNN2.
Mr. G's is Glencoe's friendly neighborhood hometown grocery.
Oh, gotta go. Gotta get this, and this.
You'll always find fresh produce.
Meat. Gotta get meat.
And the best meat anywhere at Mr. G's. They'll even cut it to order.
Gotta get this, and this. Yep, gotta get that. Gotta go.
You'll find all your favorite soft drinks and snacks, too.
That was fast. Checkout line, here I come.
Thank you for shopping at Mr. G's, where we get you out quickly.
Oh, thank goodness.
Blake, I bet you, our director and producer Jake, our cameraman Andrew and Landon, we're all going to sleep well tonight, aren't we?
We will sleep very well. What a long night it's been from Walter Wellborn here. And with 5:55 to go, we got a tie ball game, Aaron.
Yeah, tie ball game, Glencoe driving. They're outside the 20, and Wellborn's not out of this at all because they have an offense capable of sustaining drives, and if not for being brought back on a penalty, they probably would have scored last drive. So Glencoe is looking at second, and we'll call 7, maybe a long 6. Shotgun offset again as they have almost all night. Wilson takes. He'll throw into that dark space in the field. Montgomery's back there, and he picked it off. And they're actually going to call off pass interference. And I don't know if they're going to call offense or defense.
It's going to be against the defense. It was a double move look there by Pace Osmond at the far side. And as he made his double move towards the end zone, the corner on that side, I believe, was sophomore Jalen Booker. Grabbed a hold of Pace Osmond. That'll wipe away the interception, and it's a big 15-yard penalty for Glencoe.
Yeah, that's huge because Montgomery, who had the game-winning interception last week against Sachs, was the one that came up with it. I think he still might have caught that.
Yeah, he did a great job. He made a great break on the ball. He saw the quarterback's eyes. He immediately sprinted towards that side of the field. Unfortunately, it was a clear pass interference call there.
If nothing else, I don't think Osmond gets the touchdown catch. I think that's really just a bad penalty by a player who panicked a little bit.
Yeah, it wasn't a great ball from Wilson, a little bit too far towards the inside of the field. Ideally, you'd want that put right on the sideline where only your receiver can get it.
And I think it might have been Pat Harris because he's currently covering Osmond unless they just decide to make a switch. But you mentioned Booker had been playing safety most of the second half as they try to run up the gut and get past the 10-yard line down to about the 8, maybe even the 7. That's about 3 or 4 yards.
And a little bit of deja vu here as we just had almost this exact scenario coming back when the lights just turned on. Once again, Glencoe, second down and almost goal. They can still pick up a first down at the 1.
And you got to believe if Glencoe gets to 4th down, they're going to kick a field goal. They got Lang. He's got a leg in him. He could kick it 30 yards. There's no problem for him. They'll hand it off, and Bush breaks 1 tackle, but he will not break 2. He'll get inside the 5 to about the 4.5.
Good job by Roden there, forcing it back inside. Jordan Montgomery covered ground quickly and got up there and made the play just inside the 5-yard line.
So make it 3rd and 3.
Another big 3rd down.
3rd and 3. The last time a 3rd down occurred for Glencoe, it was stuffed, but that was because they had just resumed play after a long delay. Normally, Glencoe's been pretty successful. You wonder what they're going to call here. They're so close to the end zone. Play action doesn't seem like something you're going to see at this point.
And it looks like Glencoe's just going to run this play clock all the way down and take one of their 2 remaining timeouts. So they're going to have 1 left right after
this. That works. Lee Osmond does call timeout, so we'll take it with them. It's going to be 3rd and 3. Glencoe down inside the 5 when we come back, tied at 21.
When you wanted fast, when you needed speed, we've always been the one. Well, now, the fastest just got faster. Introducing Ultra 100 Internet from Cable One. Experience speed.
Hi, I'm Shane Denny, General Manager of Sunny King Forward. What does being transparent mean? It means we won't send you flyers saying you won thousands of dollars just to get you on the lot. It means we won't show you fake numbers on your trade or on our card just to make more money. It means we won't mislead you and misguide you. It means we'll be honest. It means we'll look you in the eye and shake your hand and be fair with you on every deal. That's something different about Sunny King Forward. Come see me, Shane Denny, at Sunny King Forward. It's where a handshake still matters.
4:18 to go in this one. It's tied at 21 with the 7th-ranked Walter Wellborn Panthers having their backs against the wall. Glencoe, the Yellow Jackets, just outside the top 10 rankings here in 3A Region 6. Glencoe on the doorstep. And you got to believe Glencoe with a victory here would move into that top 10. And I don't know if Wellborn should even be dropped out after this game, the way this went down.
I don't know.
If they were to come away with the loss. They'll line up with a bit of an ace offset, as it'll now be Jeff Smith's turn to call timeout. We'll actually hold it here during this timeout and talk this over like they will. But they were lining up in an ace, two tight ends on one tight end on either side and a receiver on either side, offset formation that you've seen before. What's the call here, Coach Osmond, or Coach Gardner in this case?
You've got to, I mean, they've had so much success tonight with the read option. It's hard to imagine them going back to anything other than that. The last couple times they've been in this situation, they had third down and medium, and then they had a fourth down and short. They went to Osmond, who had one-on-one coverage on the outside. Both times they went to a stick route. The first time it worked, the second time it didn't. So maybe if you see that matchup on the far side, that's something you can go to. But I just don't see them doing anything besides running maybe either a read option where you read the end or you read the tackle, just because they've had so much success with that tonight.
And if you're Jeff Smith on the Wellborn sideline, what are you looking for here?
You dare Glencoe to throw the football at this point. I think if Pace Osmond or another one of these receivers beats you one-on-one, you tip your cap. And I think you load up the box and try to prevent Glencoe from running the ball right at you.
Speaking of Osmond, he's in the slot, and he's going to have Montgomery on top of him, so that's a good matchup. We'll see what happens. They're going to go ace again.
9 guys
and they're
in the
put,
box.
Well, and they're putting receivers on the right. They're going to they're going to fake it. Wilson is going to be close to the marker. I think he might have gotten it. I think he got enough of the first down. They're giving him about the 1 yard line. That's what he needed. So I think this is going to be a first down, which really hurts Wellborn, because all of a sudden Glencoe could just run more clock.
And it looks like we'll have our 4th measurement of the night. This refereeing crew has not been shy about
second or
breaking out
third
the
for this
sticks.
quarter, it seems.
Refereeing crew has not been shy about breaking out the sticks here to measure close plays.
So we'll get that tight shot on that here. It looks like it's going to be a first down. Yeah, I think so.
He
got it. First down, Glencoe at the 1 yard line. And the way they're running the football right now, I don't see Wellborn stopping them. I think we're looking at 6 here. But Wellborn I think you had the right idea, and they had the right idea. Honestly, pack it and do your best to make a stand. Use the men in the back. You got Roden, you got Thrasher back there. Spy the quarterback.
Yep. Yeah, but another good decision there by Wilson to pull it in, find himself a crease, and get just enough there.
And they're going to send Roden actually to cover Osmond. They're sending Montgomery back to play safety. And they're going to hand it off. And he fumbled the football. Did he? He lost it. Wellborn has it. Walter Wellborn has it. Austin Bush fumbled the football. And you can't believe it. On one of the strangest nights, Blake Gardner, does it not make sense?
Unbelievable. It's the same wing offset read look that we've seen all night from Glencoe. The same read as Wilson goes to stick it in Bush's chest. It looks like they mishandle the exchange. Bush, as he goes to make his first cut, loses the football into the line of scrimmage. Millward comes up with a football. That's almost hard to believe.
I'm going to steal a line from one of my favorite movie characters. Are you serious, Clark?
Unbelievable.
Wing T jumbo formation here for Wellborn. They'll hand it off as you expect. And I think it went to Harris. It may have gone to Roden, though. I couldn't see from here.
I believe that is Roden, who picked up maybe 1.
It is. DJ Roden, who gets a little bit farther out from the end zone. The ball's originally at the 2. I think they're going to give them 2 yards, so 2nd and 8 at the 4. And holy cow, if Austin McQueen wants a John Elway moment, you have it, kid. 98-yard drive here. Unbelievable. Are you serious?
3 minutes and 15 seconds and counting here for Wellborn in the shadow of their own end zone.
I've never seen. Our friends at Jocks are about to go off the air. I wish they were still going to be on, because we got a game to tell them about. Are you kidding me? All right, here we go. 2nd and 8. They will hand it to Roden again. He'll break free and get near a first down. If not a first down, that's at least inches short. That's real close. DJ Roden fighting his way. He refuses to die tonight, and he has been a hoss for Wellborn as we expected.
What an outstanding run by DJ Roden yet again. They didn't give him any touches early, and you and I were kind of wondering why they weren't. Montgomery was getting a lot of touches. Harris was getting a lot of touches. I think we've kind of figured out why. They were saving Roden's carries for these crunch time moments right here. It seems as if Roden's gotten the ball almost every time.
And it only takes one for him to break, and he could be gone at any given moment. I mean, Glencoe has to be real careful. And really what it takes is a misdirection fake to Roden, give it to either Montgomery or Harris, and they could take off. As we're going to get another, how about another measurement?
Another measurement, and they're just short, so it's going to be 3rd down and inches here for Wellborn with 2:52 to play.
Yeah, I don't think I think they said 3rd and inches.
Said he's short.
So I think it's fair. I think it's safe to say that we're going to get a 1st down from Wellborn the way they've been running the football. We're not going to guarantee anything, obviously, but I would say let's just go hypothetically if they get the 1st down. You know, do you just try to run clock out and just get to overtime with how far you're away, or do you just keep going?
I think you keep going. You pound the ball as far as you can go and see if you can make something happen. You mentioned the big playability of Roden and Montgomery, some of these backs. Maybe you break one here.
They will sneak it with McQueen and get to the 13-yard line for a 1st down with 2:46. Remember, both teams only have one timeout. I wouldn't be surprised that Jeff Smith, I know he, gambled earlier, but I wouldn't be surprised that he's thinking, you know what, let's just get this thing to overtime. We're way too deep in our own end to, for our offense to even consider this, but.
What's a little more football, right?
Yeah. Well, heck, Mumford Leeds got it. Why not? Why not us?
Absolutely.
What a way that ended. So it is 1st and 10 from the 13. McQueen under. He will fake the handoff. They're going to pass, and maybe he'll advise, but Montgomery caught it. And he's also may get the penalty. I don't know if it's going to be against Osmond or Montgomery. It's certainly going to be pass interference, but you would think it's going to be against Osmond. I don't know if that'll add on to, or they'll probably just decline it if it will not add on. I don't think it'll add on in this case. I think they'll just decline the penalty and get it about the 40-yard line. What a ball, though. That was more of a great catch by Montgomery, and did they call face mask? So that will tack on.
It's a 5-yard face mask against Glencoe, so that's 5 yards on to the play.
Credit Montgomery. That was more of a great catch than a great throw. It was a little bit of an ugly throw, but Montgomery adjusted himself in front of Osmond to make sure that the man we call Mr. Everything had no shot to make a play on defense.
Well, McQueen did a good job of giving his receiver a chance to make a play, and that's what he did.
Harris takes the toss. He breaks back inside and gets extra yardage fighting his way to about the 47-48 line of Glencoe. And they'll give him the 47 and a half. Yeah, they will mark it right in between the 47 and 48, so we will call it 2nd and 3.5. I think it's a fair call here, as this game has been one of the strangest things we've ever seen. What a way to start. What a debut.
Unbelievable.
They will fake the handoff again. He's going to throw, and it is knocked away. Knocked away by Dalton Roberts, the man who made the big pick 6 early in the game to give a 7-0 lead to Glencoe. They were aiming for screws, and Roberts was all over them.
Yeah, good coverage by Dalton Roberts. He's seen that corner route 3 or 4 times tonight. He had it played perfectly right on top of the receiver, left hand out, knocked away the pass. Good coverage. That's textbook, and now it's a big 3rd down here for Munford.
They seem to be aiming their passes towards Dalton Roberts and Aaron Bush over here instead of going right. They haven't gone right, it seems, almost all night.
Yeah, they're picking
on. And Wellborn.
I said Munford. It's a late night. It's a late night.
It's been a long night. It has. Hey, if we have a slip of the tongue, I think we're allowed a mulligan here on this one. If there's one game we're allowed a mulligan, this will be it. It's going to be 3rd and 4 for Wellborn. They were going to hand it to Roden, but the play is stopping. There's a flag, and it may be coming back 5 yards. Yeah, Wellborn's offense moving backward. Not sure what they think. And it's a false start. Coming back 5 yards against Wellborn, and all of a sudden now the running game, as much as it is your bread and butter, you're in 3rd and 9. You're almost forced into a pass situation. Do you think we see shotgun here?
You might see shotgun here. I'd be very surprised to see Wellborn put the ball in the air just because they haven't had a lot of success tonight in the passing game up until recently with that nice play by Montgomery. Maybe you keep the ball on the ground here. You force Glencoe to call one of their timeouts if they want the ball back here in regulation.
My goodness.
A minute 39.
Yep, minute 39 to go, 3rd and 9. They're going to pack it in again. And McQueen will fake the handoff. They're going to throw. He's got a man. It's Roden. Roden is running and stride. He caught it inside the 25 on the wheel route. Roden came out of the backfield on the fake and caught a beautiful, we said credit Montgomery last time. That's McQueen right there putting a lot of good touch on that ball.
An absolutely great ball from the sophomore quarterback McQueen. You see college teams do it all the time. They'll use their backs out of the backfield running wheel routes, especially against man-to-man coverage. That time Roden ran a great route and McQueen put the ball right on the money. What a big-time play for the sophomore to get Wellborn inside the 25 with a minute 25 to go.
Under a minute and a half, they will fake it, give it to Montgomery. He's got space. Everybody was fooled on that play, and he gets inside the 15. All of a sudden, field goal kicking looks like it could become a factor, and that's where Montgomery comes in. He put himself, one of the few times you hear he put himself in good field goal range.
He did put himself in good field goal range. Nicely done by Montgomery. That time it was that same double misdirection give that we've seen from Wellborn quite a few times tonight. Good job, Montgomery. Found the hole off the left side and was able to pick up 12 or 13.
We're all tired, Blake. I understand, sir. We're all tired. We're looking possibly at an extra football. We don't know yet, so we'll see. But you and I talked about they could pull that misdirection to Roden and they would be completely confused. They were on that play. Montgomery gets the big run because of it. This time they will give it to Roden. He's got space, and he will not get away. That is a great tackle. I think it was Osmond again.
It was Pace Osmond. Nicely done, covering ground, a great angle to the ball as he takes out the legs of Roden, and it's going to be a timeout here for Walter Wellborn.
I'm not sure I would have used it now if I'm Walter Wellborn. You're at 2nd down. You know, I know they're not a hurry-up offense, but, you know, I mean, I guess, here's what I'm guessing if you're Jeff Smith. It's 2nd down. We're going to keep it here for right now. It's 2nd down. You run a play. If it doesn't get you the 1st down, you're spiking.
Right.
And setting up the field goal. That's where I guess the timeout is coming into play. So that would be my assumption. And in a sense, that's a good call.
Right.
Now, Glencoe, on the other hand, if it gets to if the play does not pick up a 1st down, it gets the 3rd down. If I'm Glencoe, I'm calling timeout.
Right, you got to save all the time you can if you're Glencoe now. Well inside field goal range is Walter Wellborn. If they kicked it now, it would be about a 26-yarder for Montgomery.
That should be Wellborn's last timeout as we saw it. It showed 1-1 on the scoreboard earlier. It still says 1-1 at the moment. But as we understand it, I believe they have no timeouts left. That's our assumption, but the scoreboard still reads 1-1 on the timeouts. As Wellborn players getting the fans behind them. 2nd and 7 from the 9. They'll give it to Roden up the middle. He got tripped. I think he got tripped by his own man. I think it was number 58. Dalton Epps was on the ground. I think he tripped over his own man's ankle. So
it looks like Wellborn does have one final timeout.
Yeah, maybe so. Or they're going to spike it like we talked about. Who knows? I mean, it said 1-1 earlier. I don't know. I'm not going to call anything at this point. There's nothing official. But if they're lining up under center, they must have one left. Because they give it to Roden, and now they call timeout.
With 15 seconds left.
Okay, so they did have one left, so there you go. They used their final timeout. Maybe a little soon on the timeout, I don't know. I mean, it's going to be 4th down. I mean, really, if you miss the field goal, you're giving Glencoe an extra play or two if they want to work with it.
Yeah.
And you're really giving them time on the kickoff. I think if you're Jeff Smith, you should have let that thing run to 3 seconds.
Yeah, you probably should have let that run all the way down. I'm not sure why the Wellborn coaching staff was so excited to call that.
Let's take a quick 30-second timeout. Let's come right back for the final, for the field goal right here on FNN2.
I am never getting married. Never. Guaranteed.
You picked a beautiful ring. Thank you. We're never having kids.
I love it here.
We are never moving to the suburbs.
We are never getting one of those. We're never having another kid.
I'm pregnant.
I'm never letting go.
For all the nevers in life, talk to State Farm agent Charles Goff in Rainbow City. State Farm is there.
Alongside Blake Gardner here on FNN2's debut broadcast from the Hill at Wellborn High School in Anniston. And Blake, they're literally everywhere around this field. They're up on the banks here behind the goalposts. They're up by the fence. They're lined up behind, there are people up behind the fencing over on the far side. They're everywhere. They're over here behind the fence. Good night. And they're all here to see what has been an incredible ball game mixed in with some weird voodoo with the power outage earlier. And we've been playing with 3/4 lights for the last quarter and a half.
That we have. And now it all comes down to a 24-yard field goal from Jordan Montgomery.
And actually, it looks like it may even be more closer to 25 yards. Well, no, actually, no, you had it. 24 in that. Glencoe will spend their time out to make Montgomery think about it. Although I said to Jeff Ellison, I really don't believe that icing the kicker is that big of a deal.
Yeah, we had that debate back at Gadsden City a while back.
Yeah, really the odds scream that slightly the advantage goes to being iced. Like, it's not much. It's not much of a difference. There's not much of a change between the two, but there is a slight advantage to being iced rather than kicking right off the bat. I really don't think it matters personally. I think it's just a head game that you're trying to play. And if the kicker is easily rattled, then certainly it works. But if he's ice cold, it's not going to have much of an effect on him.
Well, you got a straight-on toe kicker here in Jordan Montgomery, who's going to have to pull the ball a little bit from the far hash to get it inside.
You know what I'm glad that we don't see is what Urban Meyer popularized years ago with the timeout right as this snap is coming. I'm sick of that. I'm glad we don't see that in high school football, let me tell you.
The timeouts are 0-0. It all comes down to this.
We are down. So it'll be as Blake Gardner said, 24-yard attempt for Jordan Montgomery. He won the game last week against Sachs with an interception. He has a chance to take the lead here with a field goal. Spots down. The laces were in there, and that one sailed right. The laces were not out. Those laces never got spun, Blake.
No, it was a high snap. Good job by Austin McQueen to try to get the ball down on the tee, but he couldn't spin the laces. You saw it right, and immediately you could just see it off the foot of Montgomery that it did not have good flight at all, and he straight up pushed it.
Pushed it right. Still 21-21. I mean, unless Glencoe pulls a miracle here, we're going to overtime.
No, I think you'll see Glencoe put the ball on the ground here and send it to OT with just 10
who knows?
seconds
I mean,
left.
they could bust one. Who knows? I mean, Wellborn is throwing their guys back. They're not going to allow. They're looking to almost play an umbrella here, depending on what they see Glencoe come out in. And I don't know. Honestly, if I'm a coach, I think I take a knee here because you could always have we've seen turnovers from Glencoe tonight.
We have.
And you certainly don't want one taken back to end the game. We don't need another variation of a kick six situation here. So it's 10 seconds left, 1st and 10 on the 20, and there it is, knee. That's the smart call, I think, and we're going to overtime. We've played 48 minutes. An hour and a half we spent in the dark. It is 21 apiece, and this has been some ball game. We'll come back for overtime, and we'll tell you the rules here on FNN2.
Since 1848, our bank has witnessed inventions that have changed the world. Conveniences such as the refrigerator, the light bulb, and the airplane were all created during the early days of our bank. VHS tapes, DVDs, smartphones, all invented while we were First National Bank of Talladega. Our name may have changed, but we have a rich history. First Bank of Alabama. We're still first, and so are you.
Hello, I'm Johnny Warren with Anniston EMS, and we're proud to be a part of the excitement of high school football games by providing emergency on-site services for local high school games.
Anniston EMS provides this area with skilled, innovative, and dependable emergency care. As the area's only public safety company, Anniston EMS features dedicated employees who provide patients the highest quality pre-hospital care available. When you see Anniston EMS, you're seeing the best care possible.
Play hard and be safe from all of us at Anniston EMS.
We're back here in Walter Wellborn in Anniston at the Hill. As you can see, we've ended regulation tied at 21, and Blake, we're going to play some extra football here in Anniston.
We are going to play some extra football. That's exactly right. We'll get to the rules here. So high school football rules are just a little bit different than college football. Instead of taking over at the 25, in high school we take over. You get one series, 1st and goal from the 10. We take over from the 10, and we'll have a coin toss to determine who goes on offense first. That team will go on offense. They'll have four plays to get to the end zone. If they score, then it goes back to the other team. They'll have 4 plays to do the same. Starting with the third overtime, teams who score a touchdown must go for 2. We play until we have a winner.
I don't want to tick off our producer and cameraman when I say this, but Lawrence County and East Lawrence recently had a 7 overtime affair.
That they did.
I'm just saying.
One other piece of information to note, each team, they were out of timeouts at the end of regulation. Each team will now have 1 additional timeout to be used in every overtime period going forward. We'll hopefully get the first overtime started shortly after we have a subsequent coin toss to determine who will get the ball first.
And I would imagine whoever picks the side is going to go this way. I don't think the sides is going to be much of a decision here, really.
In fact, the referees are coming over to each side. I'm pretty sure what they're going to say is we're not going to allow a team to play to the dark side. I think we're going to play on the
We'll just play on the light the entire time, which, really, there's no advantage to that because both bands are on that side anyway.
Right.
There's not much, I mean, obviously Wellborn being the home team has a slight advantage with the crowd, so you could say that Glencoe would prefer to play on the other side if they wanted to get away from the home crowd.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, I mean, it's not that big an advantage. Although I will say this, Wellborn's crowd has been extremely loud here, especially since we got back from our dark break.
They've held out through the delay. It's been impressive.
Yeah, we got Jake Thrasher coming out for the Panthers, and I believe that is for Glencoe, Luke Long, number 65, for the coin toss, and we'll get in on that one. Glencoe will call it again, as per before at the beginning of the game, and you know whoever wins is going to take defense.
Absolutely. And Aaron, we had a coin toss about 4 hours and 15 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh. Did we? I forgot all about it. I'll be honest, I usually do well waking up for college game day. I'm not going to make it. Coins in the air, and it is to Glencoe. Glencoe looks like they won no, I said Glencoe. He looked to Glencoe first, then looked to Wellborn. I don't know if he was saying that's what the coin was, so I don't know who won the toss. I thought at first it was Glencoe, but he turned away so quick. So I think Wellborn may have won the toss and he's going to get to be on defense. We'll see.
All mum from the referees.
We don't have
50 right now.
We need a ref mic on these games. It's all right. Hey, we're in progress. We're going to be a monster broadcast here in the future. Let me tell you, after games like this, for sure, is that going to be. So it looks like, as I'm trying to tell by the personnel, I think Wellborn is getting defense.
I think Wellborn won the toss, and they will play defense. So Glencoe's offense goes back on the field, 1st and goal from the 10 to start us for OT.
The only person I had to see was Pitts, Kane Pitts from earlier, and I was sure that it was defense for Wellborn. And now you see the offensive personnel for Glencoe. They will play on this side on the left side. I say this side, the left side of the field where it is fully bright. And you could see one of the players here, that's number 88 for Wellborn down below us, Tona Davis. The sophomore's trying to rally the crowd to get loud and fired up because this is crunch time. This is it, do or die. It will end here soon, unless we want to set a state record of any kind.
Hopefully it ends soon is what you're saying.
We would think. I mean, look, hey, you know what? Football's football, man. I'm enjoying this. This is a great game. I don't know about you.
This has been a blast.
I know our crew's ready to go home, and I do sympathize with them, but I'm loving this. It'll be Wilson in the shotgun. I believe it's Bush to his right, and he will fake the handoff and only get a couple of yards. And honestly, going back to looking at this situation really favors Wellborn on both sides of the football.
Yeah, Wellborn's done a good job inside the red zone tonight. They forced a couple turnovers. They forced a couple of stops.
They got the fumble. Just the craziest play we've ever seen. Got the fumble at the 2 that led to the drive that almost got the game-winning field goal and just came up short. Came up wide right. Sorry, Florida State fans, when I say that. Bush again in the backfield to the left of Wilson. Pace Osmond in motion. He's going to throw, and it's just out of the hands. I think it was Dalton Roberts. I believe that it was number 23. It was Roberts.
It was Robertson on the coverage with sophomore Jalen Booker. It's cover 0 for Wellborn all across the board, man-to-man.
Well, why not? I mean, you said earlier, dare them to beat you with the pass. Now they did that with Roberts earlier on the play action, so you got to be careful. But they're looking to stop the run. Although I think now in a 3rd and 8, you may be looking to stop the pass. You don't know.
I think you can look at the pass a little bit more. Look at Pace Osmond, top of your screen on the outside.
4 wide, he's gonna roll right. He throws, Wilson throws, it is caught! It is caught for a touchdown. I think it was Pace Osmond who beat Spencer Screws. Screws had his arm in there and Osmond just ripped it into his body.
We talked about Osmond pretty much all game. We mentioned him in the open. He is the do-or-die player for this Glencoe team. This time, cover 0 across, just like we talked about. It was one-on-one, rolling out right was the quarterback Wilson, and he gave his receiver a chance, and Pace Osmond came down with the football. Great one-on-one play by Osmond to give Glencoe the lead here in the first overtime.
So Glencoe starts off right. Lang will come on for the extra point. Now this is, always critical. That's high, and it looked right. It is just in there. It's good. And that was one of those heart flutter moments there. So we'll keep it here as we get ready to switch up sides. It's Glencoe 28, number 7, Walter Wellborn 21 here in the first overtime. We've played one half of that. Now it's Wellborn's turn, and they get 10 yards to try to use their run offense. And I think that does, unless Glencoe puts 11 guys in the box, I don't know if they're going to be able to stop Wellborn from getting in the end zone.
Yeah, Wellborn all night long has been able to establish their ground game, and this is the perfect situation for them. 4 plays to get 10 yards. I think they like their chances with their stable of backs as they come out in their heavy bone yet again.
And if that should happen, if Wellborn was able to score as they line up, they're going to go power with Montgomery, who's going to go to the outside and then cut back. He'll get about 3 or 4 yards around the 6-yard line. Hypothetically, if Wellborn is to score as we have an injury on the field. Nope, he's getting up. It is Austin Bush slowly getting up, but he is up, and he's going to come to the sideline. Hypothetically, if Wellborn should score, they'll have to start back on offense again. And we'll switch it up. And I don't know if we'll flip the field.
I strongly doubt that we will.
Yeah. Wellborn brings on Booker, who we don't see very often on offense, and then McQueen coming back on to bring the play. Yeah, we haven't seen Booker very much on offense, to my knowledge. They're going to go jumbo wing T, and they're going to hand it off. And he is stuffed at the 5, maybe the 4-yard line. The ball came out, and the flag came out. I think we're going to get a face mask because I think Harris, I don't know if it was Harris or Roden that was the ball carrier.
And this could be a really big penalty because if it goes against Glencoe, it's half the distance to the goal and an automatic first down.
There's no way that's not a 15. That's no way that's not a personal foul. That's a face mask. The helmet came clear off. So we'll see the call. It is what you said. It's personal foul, face mask. All of a sudden, the ball's on the 2-yard line, and Wellborn gets a new set of downs. We said you only get one series. That's the one exception to the rule.
And another big penalty.
Oh man, I think Glencoe may have just handed 6 right there if they're not careful. Now they really have to pack the box, and all of a sudden Wellborn has everything at their disposal for 4 straight plays.
Yeah, 4 plays from the 2-yard line. I think if you're Wellborn, you gotta love your chances here.
Maybe call a fake with McQueen on a bootleg. We haven't seen it in a while, and he can dart up the middle quick enough to get in, perhaps. Yeah. It's a jumbo T again. Handoff is to Montgomery. He will be cut down real quick by Osmond. Osmond again, my gosh. If he doesn't have 20 tackles on the night, I'm shocked.
Great job by Osmond there, sealing the edge and wrapping up. He read that play very well. And it was just a strong power left to Montgomery, and Osmond wraps him up and meets him right at the point of attack for no gain.
I hope someone's keeping stats and can give me the individual numbers on defense tonight, because Pace Osmond has been an Iron Man. He has been everything for Glencoe in so many ways. Now, granted, let's not take away Dalton Roberts' performance. Roberts has been a big key in the scoring and, on offense and defense, but Pace Osmond's such a big key. Jumbo T again, they'll go to Roden. He'll break the corner, and I think he's going to get the outside touchdown. DJ Roden again. Who else?
Who else but DJ Roden? Just pure speed to get to the outside. There were heavy Yellow Jackets in pursuit, but Roden was just too much. He got to the pylon first. But now, another big moment here. Montgomery, who just missed the PAT, has to come on and hit this, or just missed the field goal, has to come on and get the PAT to send this to second overtime.
What's the old Ace Ventura line? Laces out, Finkel.
Laces out.
So, laces out. McQueen, I think, is, I'm sure the coaching staff has told Austin McQueen, ball was low. They're going to throw it. And that was intercepted, and Glencoe's going to win. I don't know if that was a design. I don't know if McQueen felt the snap was so bad he wasn't going to be able to recover it in time. But Glencoe comes into Anniston, and for the second straight year, they walk out with a 1-point victory.
Unbelievable. You can't say enough about the job Glencoe did tonight. After a slow start, they really got the offense going, and it was one of those nights where they did just enough to come out with a victory, and that's a heartbreaking loss for Wellborn. It looked like it was a designed fake. You saw two guys jump up like they were looking for the football.
I just didn't see enough players go out for the pass, really. I didn't see that it, I don't know. I couldn't tell if it looked designed or not. I thought McQueen panicked. You know, he is a sophomore. That can happen. I thought he panicked when the ball got on the ground, thought they wouldn't be able to get a good kickoff. And I wonder if the last kick was on his mind, and if all of a sudden he just decided I might as well take a chance. I don't know. I can't imagine that was the case, but you know, stranger things have happened tonight, obviously. So your final score, Glencoe 28, Walter Wellborn 27. There's no reason, no shame for Wellborn to lose this game, and Glencoe all of a sudden takes the reins of 3A Region 6 along with Piedmont here tonight.
Big time win for Glencoe. You can't say enough about what they did tonight, and fitting after 4 hours and 21 minutes here that this crazy game ends on one more crazy play, Aaron.
Let's take a timeout. We'll be back with more of the post game here on the FNN Network.
No one's quite sure when boys turn into men, or if they ever do. And although we never had a choice on how we entered this world, we do have a choice on how we leave. If you've ever considered cremation, consider this. You can still have a funeral. You can still have a memorial service. That way, everyone you ever said hello to will have a way to say goodbye.
K.L. Brown Funeral Home and Crematory.
People come from everywhere to get their deal from Bill Stanford. They come from Ashland, Brompton, Lineville. They come from Moody, Munford, Coldwater, Birmingham, Talladega, Lincoln, Riverside, Heflin. There's no better deal than a Talladega Bill deal.
Right now, all Ram trucks are at or below supplier price. Save over $2,700 on this 2015 Ram 1500 at Bill Stanford.
Come on out to Bill Stanford in Talladega.
Welcome back to the Friday Night Network FNN2, the debut broadcast with Blake Gardner. I'm Aaron Daniel, and we thank you for joining us through all of this, through what was a crazy ball game. Tied 21 when we had a power outage, then about an hour and a half delay. No score through the rest of regulation, and then we go to overtime, and Glencoe pulls it out, 28-27. And again, as I said, Wellborn has nothing to be ashamed about. They have a bright season ahead. Piedmont will later be on the horizon. That's going to be a big test. But they get a little bit of reprieve next week, taking on one of the other members of Region 6, not named Piedmont. So that's always good for them. Wellborn will bounce back, but really, in a lot of ways, they had every opportunity to win this ball game.
Yeah, Wellborn can take solace in the fact that they're going to be a playoff team at the end of the day. But I think when they wake up tomorrow morning, they're just going to be feeling like they should have had this game this time or this time or this time. Two big turnovers from Wellborn, and then the missed field goal at the end of regulation. Just too many key mistakes from Wellborn to come away with a win tonight at home.
Unlike last year, they didn't lead all night, but they kept fighting back, and we thought after the fumble on 2, I think we all thought momentum was in their favor, and then, they had the game-winning field goal lined up, and just, a bad hold by McQueen. Didn't put the laces out. It threw off Montgomery's kick. Now, meanwhile, Glencoe went 10-0 last year, region champs, but I don't know if playing, last year they came back and won after being down 2 touchdowns and win by 1 point. I don't think this year I don't think they can do the same thing, go 10-0 the way they played tonight.
Yeah, Glencoe knows they need to get better from tonight. They made a lot of mistakes. They had key turnovers as well. They had some big penalties that didn't go their way tonight. So they did not play. They know that they can play better, and they can take solace tonight coming away saying, hey, guess what? We didn't play our best football tonight, and somehow we escaped with a W. So that can be something to build on as they go towards next week and as they get sent for Piedmont here in about 4 or 5 weeks.
Yeah, that will be a big matchup. I imagine we'll have it circled on our calendar, and if the game of the week doesn't take it, we'll certainly be more than happy to after what we saw tonight. Final score, 28-27. Glencoe defeats the number 7 ranked Walter Wellborn Panthers. I don't expect Wellborn to fall out of the top 10 after that performance either. I think Glencoe will jump in. Walter Wellborn may drop to 10 at worst. For everybody here, for our cameraman, Landon Greenwood, Andrew Fisher, for our producer and director, Jake Jacobs, for Blake Gardner, I am Aaron Daniel, and sir, it's been a fun debut. Look forward to next week.
Absolutely, man.
We thank you for joining us for the debut of FNN2 here on the Friday Night Network, and we say good night, everybody, from Anniston. Woohoo! All right, let's pack it.